72. Metro wants to remind you to avoid delays like these in the future. Think about taking a train. The UP North Line available out of Highland Park. Travel time on the Kennedy Expressway in about an hour 15, close to an hour outbound. On the Eisenhower coming in, expect about an hour 25 from I-90N. 46 in from Manheim. Headed out to Manheim, close to 50, an hour 15 to the Jane Addams Tollway. Stevenson outbound, 47 to the Tri-State, hour 5 to the Veterans, 1 hour in. The Dan Ryan's 35 out and 26 in. Nothing major on your tollways, just a delay here or there. Next reports at 4:08, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
All right, Neil, thank you. For the rest of this afternoon, cloudy and cool, some steady showers, maybe periods of rain south of the city with a high only of 70. Cloudy tonight, a low of 60. Then peaks of sun tomorrow, a high of 77. Getting hot starting on Sunday. 63 now at O'Hare, 61 Lakefront.
Featuring the news that matters and breaking news at any time. This is Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Coming up in the next half hour on News Radio WBBM, U.S. Central Command forces conduct strikes against Iran in response to an attack on a ship in the Strait of Hormuz.
This is Glenn Marshall. Federal authorities say they foiled a violent attack planned for a UFC event at the White House. The Chicago man is now facing charges for trying to cover his tracks.
Workers at an oil refinery in Northwest Indiana rally against British Petroleum in business.
I'm Erica Herskowitz at Bloomberg. A losing session on Wall Street today. Dow fell 45 points and the Nasdaq slipped to 61.
We've got cloudy sky. Wheeling right now, 63 at O'Hare, 60.
From ABC News. I'm Mike Dubowski. U.S. Central Command now says it's carried out strikes on Iranian missile and drone storage locations and coastal radar sites. It comes after President Trump said Iran violated the ceasefire agreement with the U.S. by striking a ship in the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer says 2 jurors thought Jonathan Rinderknecht was guilty of sparking the blaze, and 10 thought he was not guilty.
Hearing that 10 of the jurors said not guilty, I think would give an air of confidence to the defense to say, to retry this case, why does it make sense? Why move forward? Because for any case, the prosecutor must show that they believe they can get a guilty verdict. With an outcome like this, I think it's a very difficult conversation for the prosecution to move forward. So interesting to see what happens next.
Prosecution says they will declare a retrial. The first plane packed with American aid arrived in Venezuela to help with the ongoing relief efforts from this week's devastating.
Get that done as quickly as it is needed. So a short while ago, we learned that a U.S. plane carrying some of this equipment landed in Venezuela. We also know that there were personnel and aid coming in from around the globe, including to help save as many lives as possible.
ABC's Faith Abube, you're listening to ABC News.
Even they rescued from the river.
Yeah.
Already created the blood clot inside the body. That's kill the people. Or inside the Japan experienced that those in sad situations. Another aspect depends.
Again?
Yeah. 6 hours ago, yeah.
Something's going on, huh?
The ring of fire.
Yeah.
4:03 Friday, the 26th day of June. June is flying by, and so has the week, isn't it? Thanks for joining us today. I'm Lisa Fielding. We have cloudy skies, 63 degrees. Cloudy and cool. We've got some reports of rain, light rain in Wheeling, rain in Romeoville. That's kind of the story today with a high only 70. But the heat is on starting Sunday into next week. The AccuWeather 5-day forecast, we'll learn more about that coming up at 4:15. But first at 4, a Chicago man has been arrested in connection with a foiled attack on the UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House. WBBM's Glenn Marshall has details.
20-year-old Alexander Niguez Mercado is charged with obstruction of justice after allegedly serving as an administrator of a signal chat used by members planning a violent attack at the UFC event at the White House on June 14th. Prosecutors say when an FBI agent called to question Mercado the day before the event, he denied any plans to travel to Washington, then uninstalled the Signal app, wiping the related messages. 7 others from multiple states have also been charged in the foiled plot. Mercado faces up to 20 years in federal prison. Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Misconduct allegations by a federal prosecutor before a grand jury. It's now led to charges thrown out in cases tied to Operation Midway Blitz, and now a conviction is reportedly at risk.
Anthony Gonzalez Alvarez was supposed to be sentenced next month after pleading guilty. The 27-year-old from Lyons had initially been charged with assaulting Border Patrol agents in Brighton Park, but a superseding indictment charged him with only concealing information about a crime, which is what he pleaded guilty to. Now the Tribune reports the U.S. Attorney's Office asked to push back his sentencing as it evaluates what it's calling a technical legal issue, not a grand jury indictment. The office says allegations of misconduct by a prosecutor have prompted the office to review years of her cases and drop some charges, including those against the Broadview Six. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Workers at an oil refinery in northwest Indiana held a rally on South Wacker Drive in Chicago today, making demands of British Petroleum.
The union workers rallied outside BP's corporate offices, saying management should stop what union members call an illegal lockout of roughly 800 members at the BP refinery in Whiting, Indiana. United Steelworkers International President Roxanne Brown.
We made $3.8 billion. We can afford to give our members their fair share of the pie.
The lockout has lasted more than 3 months, Indiana Congressman Frank Mervan.
From Whiting to Washington to Chicago, we are not going to relent.
BP released a statement saying in part that the company values its employees and respects their right to assemble, and the company says it will continue negotiating in good faith. Terry Teschner, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Well, it's Spring Pride weekend, and police and community leaders say they believe they're ready to keep people in and around Lakeview safe during and after the Pride Parade. Hundreds of thousands are expected to line Halstead for the city's 55th parade celebrating the LGBTQ plus community. Northside Alderman Bennett Lawson says the parade is especially important this year in light of political shifts in Washington and neighboring states.
The Pride Parade sends a strong message that Chicago is a safe and welcoming space for everyone. We want everyone to enjoy themselves this weekend, but nothing is more important than the safety of parade participants, attendees, and residents of the surrounding neighborhoods.
Police say they've worked for months on a plan specifically targeting any gatherings after the parade that could spark acts of violence or any vandalism. Cooling buses and other hot weather resources will also be on hand along the parade route. Step off at 11 a.m. Sunday from Broadway and Sheridan. And over in the northwest suburbs, LGBTQ plus advocates are getting ready to protest a Palatine church that they say has been spreading messages of hate during Pride Month. The hours-long protest is set to begin at 6:15 on the sidewalk by New Hope Community Church on Palatine Road. The Daily Herald reports that some of the church's signs say ditch parade, embrace community. God invented marriage. It wasn't up to us to reinvent it. Organizers of the protest emphasize that it's not a protest against religion, just the message to the church leaders. It's 4:08 now. Time to check in on the roads. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. How are the Friday roads tonight, Neil?
Not good on the Edens, that's for sure. If you're in the north suburbs, you are packed in on both sides. Crews are trying to get to a crash outbound at Dundee Road involving multiple vehicles. We're hearing that one may have rolled over. It sure looks like a couple of lanes are blocked there at Dundee. On the outbound side of the Edens are packed in from the junction, and 45 inbound really heavy from Lake Cook Road through the scene, and that's why you have the big backup on the Edens spur. If you eastbound Waukegan Road to the Edens Expressway, avoid these big delays on the outbound side of the Edens Expressway. Maybe get over to Waukegan Road and use that instead. Unusually slow on the outbound side of the Edens. Looking on the Kennedy Expressway in about an hour 20 or an hour out to the airport. The Eisenhower inbound an hour 25, an hour 15 out to the the Jane Addams. Stevenson out close to an hour 10 with the Veterans Tollway, you're 1 hour in. On the Dan Ryan 35 out, about 25 inbound. 57 going out, just 18. 26 on the outbound Ford. A little tight inbound on the Ford, getting near the Dan Ryan. We saw the Lakeshore Drive stop and go northbound spots from 18th to Chicago Avenue. Spotted delays southbound Fullerton all the way to Roosevelt through Grant Park. Heavy from 47th over to Hayes. On the tollways, our biggest delay is along the Tri-State on the southbound side from about the Jane Addams down to Ogden through the ongoing work zone, which is why you're really backed up in the northwest suburbs on Route 53 either side. As Kirchhoff, the right lane closed, that is long-term construction. Delays along I-80 in the southwest suburbs on both sides between Larkin and Briggs, and then delays eastbound take you through Tinley Park. In northwest Indiana, 8094 heavy eastbound from the Ford decline. The crash we've been talking about there, gone from the right lane. And westbound traffic is heavy in spots from the toll road all the way to the Bishop Ford. Delays on I-94 near Michigan City. That is a lot more volume coming through for the weekend, and the work zone is still there. The left lane is closed. From the Metro Traffic Center, next report, 418. News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
For the rest of this afternoon, cloudy, cool with some showers with a high only of 70. Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 60. And clouds and sun tomorrow with a high of 77. Then the heat is on starting Sunday. By Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, temperatures in the mid to upper 90s. Yes. Wow, 63 cool degrees right now at O'Hare, 66 Aurora, 61 Lakefront. Stocks finish the week in the green, rather the red. Take that. The Dow down 45, S&P off by about 4, and the Nasdaq lost 61. It's 4:10.
Hi, I'm Jack.
There we go. It's 4:10 p.m. It is Friday, June 26th, 2026. Happy Friday. I believe it is the last Friday of June, isn't it? Yeah, there is no more Fridays after this. That's it. It's the last Friday of June. A little cool, a little rainy, a little overcast here in the city. Hopefully you have some fun organized for the weekend and for tonight. Maybe do a little relaxing. It's gonna get hot now for the next couple of months, it sounds like. It sounds like next week's gonna get hot. I mean, it's gonna be good. We already had, 80s and 90s this year, I think. So, get ready. I know Europe is having a heat wave, a death wave. It's bad over there. So we might get some of that. We'll see how it goes. Just get ready. We're about halfway done with, well, not really. It can get hot all the way up into September now, so we got 2 months of heat coming up. So just get ready. Make sure your air conditioners, just like in the winter, I tell everybody, you have your air conditioners checked. You got to clean. For the air conditioning is a little more than the furnace. You got to check the cooling thing outside. What you want to do is make sure there's no leaves and junk on the cooling fins. You got to check if you can wash yours yourself with water. I wouldn't if you can't. In fact, I would just have somebody, if you can't afford it, have some handyman do it that you know and you trust, and read up on it on the internet. Otherwise, I would just have a heating and cooling guy do it, and then you need to do the filters even in the summer. So you do the filter. I would always do the filter once in the winter and once in the summer. You always switch them. And every few years you should clean out your ductwork if you have ductwork. Yeah, I don't know, some people have radiators, so you don't have to do this. For radiators, you just bleed them for the winter, right? That's what you want to do. But if you got forced air, you got to make sure you clean 2 times a year. You change the filters. I mean, what are those? $5, $10 most? I don't even know how much those are. And if you got the right guy, you can clean out that condenser outside, right? And if you can check the pressure too if you need a Freon, but you shouldn't be messing with the Freon ever. I mean, if it's leaking, then you got other issues. Then you need to figure that out. But the minimum you can do yourself: clean out your, change the filters, and cleaning the condenser. You want to maybe have a guy do that if you're not too sure of yourself on that one. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. That way you have clean air coming in. You don't have dust and junk running in your household. And you stay cool, right? When the heat comes, it's like the winter. You don't want the to fix your heater when it's cold. You want to fix it when it's, right, when you don't need it. And it's a little cheaper that way, usually is. But some companies, they charge the same price anyways. The point is if it's hot, they might not be able to come out.
2 tickets to see the B-52s and Devo Cosmic De-Evolution Tour 2026 at Credit Union 1 Amphitheater.
Devo.
September 17th.
88 Adam and
Like Marietta says, 90s are coming. And look, for those of us
08655.
For those of us who are getting older, and I'm starting to realize this, we did a lot today. We did a lot of chores. We got up early and did a lot. You can schedule your stuff, right? If you know it's going to be hot or super cold, then you hunker down, right? If you got money, you take a trip. Do whatever you need to do, right? We can manage our things. Hopefully we get a little older and we can manage what we need to do and what we don't need to do. I mean, that's what I think we need to be doing. And I think that's the segue into what I want to talk about a little bit today, and then I'll put on the radio calls. There is no management. I mean, there is management. It's called crisis management. That's what Brandon Johnson does. They run the city through crisis. It's clear now. I hope everybody sees it. You see sheriffs on the train, but 3 years ago they said it was safe. So why do we need sheriffs on the train today? Well, because you allowed crime to happen. They allowed crime to happen. I did a video about, or a cartoon about this. They're the guy, when you don't know how to swim, you're by the lake, and the guy that pushes you in, you start drowning, and then he grabs you out and says, wow, you owe me. I saved you from drowning. You're like, dude, you pushed me into the water. Well, that's what Brandon Johnson does. That's what Joni Preckwinkle does. And that's what J.B. Pritzker does. It's clear now. You could have had Cook County sheriffs on the trains 4 years ago. Maybe if they would have had the Cook County sheriffs on the trains 4 years ago, those 4 people wouldn't have been executed. Maybe if they would have had the sheriffs on the train, that girl wouldn't have been burned alive. Maybe if they would have had the police on the platforms and security on the trains that was appropriate, there would have been a lot less murders on the train. You know, there's multiple murders on the trains and the buses over the years. I haven't even tallied that up. Maybe we would have had less violence in the high schools and less murders of students if we wouldn't have took out the police out of the schools. And maybe everybody knows they removed the gang database from Chicago, right? That was Chicago Teachers Union. They did that. They removed the SROs from the high schools. Where does most gang activity happen? Where does it start? Usually happens in the schools. It's where they recruit. And the most gang activity happens outside, but they do recruiting in schools. Conflicts start in schools. But if you have some kind of a person in a school that understands this and doesn't do a peace circle and says, yeah, I think there might be a killing today, like at Hyde Park on 63rd and Stony Island, let's have some cops and then you take care of it. You know, they know exactly who the shooter is. They know it's a student who killed Eric Billups, and there's no arrests. Why hasn't there been an arrest in Eric Billups' murder? 63rd and Stony Island, a student was murdered at a bus stop by another student. Multiple witnesses. Multiple witnesses. Multiple witnesses. Why isn't there an arrest? Why isn't there an arrest? Because they want crime to happen. Because they want gangs. They want drugs. Why? Because then, like I seen today, I was at the police headquarters doing some business. That lady came from the mayor's office saying, I got all your vouchers for you. They're handing out checks like water. They're like Oprah Winfrey. You get a check, you get a check, you get a check. And there was a whole bunch of those crime interventionists at the police station. I was there. I seen it. She said, I got your checks. One lady from the mayor's office, and there was a whole bunch of crime interventionists outside the headquarters. A whole bunch of them. There's at least a dozen of them I've seen today. They're all collecting checks. That's the first thing they get. They don't even get trained. They get checks. How did they do the checks that fast? They just passed that thing, the gun violence department. They just passed that yesterday. How come they already cut the checks today? How fast did that happen? How fast can you make an idea, pass the executive, whatever it was, and then all of a sudden have the checks printed already the next day? Man, that was pretty fast. That was very fast. It was extremely fast. Maybe because you planned it that way. Maybe you planned for people to get killed. You allow people to get killed. Maybe you allow drugs to go into the neighborhood. You allow gangs to fester and harm people. Maybe you allowed that stuff to happen. And then you say, yeah, I'll save you from drowning. And then you get out of the water and say, yeah, but you pushed me into the water. Yeah, but you were drowning. Don't forget you were drowning. But you pushed me in the water, but you were drowning, and now I saved you. That person should go to prison. The person who pushed you in the water should go to prison. And maybe forever, because they're mentally ill. Because they did two things. They wanted to harm somebody, and they premeditatedly harmed you. So not only are they bad, they thought about harming you. But the last and most insidious thing that you could do as a human being is to decide you're going to harm somebody and then pretend that you're protecting them. And that's what Brandon Johnson is doing today. That is what Tony Prickwinkle is doing today. Tom Dart is doing it. They're all doing it. They're all together. Tony Prickwinkle is doing it. J.B. Pritzker is doing it. And maybe even Donald Trump. And maybe even Donald Trump, because they got that the methadone or the fentanyl pills out west, where they said the DEA was allowing fentanyl to go into the community on purpose. And there a lot of people died. So maybe Donald Trump's guilty too, or whoever works for him. They're all guilty. Why? Because they want it to go bad, and then they want to say they saved it. That's what we're experiencing today in the city of Chicago, in Cook County, in Illinois, for sure. For sure. There is no doubt about it. So the question now becomes, what do we do as citizens? What do we do as citizens to punish those who harmed all the people who experienced violence, who were murdered, who were harmed by intentional decisions of our government to allow crime to go because you want to win an election? I'm going to state that one more time. SubX.News. Brandon Johnson intentionally allowed crime to continue in our city, along with Tom Dart. You can sue me. Come on, let's go to court. Whoever's listening to me, because I know the mayor's office, and I know other people listen to me. I know, what's his name over there? Don, whatever. That asshole up in CPD Communications. What's his name? I don't know. The Pulitzer Prize guy from New York. He grew up in Evanston. Yeah, he runs the Chicago Police Department Communications. I forget his name. He's a writer. He's not a police guy. He's not from Chicago. He's a writer. He writes narratives. He writes stories. That's what the man does. And he works for he's the head of the communications department of Chicago Police Department. So imagine that. You got a guy who won the Pulitzer Prize for writing stories in charge of what's said to the city. These are the guys that are responsible for allowing crime to happen in our city, allowing children to be killed, allowing old people to be robbed, allowing CTA workers to be harmed, allowing our city to go bankrupt. Like that. You see that there? Where you see these stores all empty. See all the stores empty? It says summer 2026 we're opening up. Well, it's kind of summer already, ain't it? Ain't it summer already? I think it's summer already. It's over. Summer solstice, right? Didn't we just have that last weekend? That was Sunday. And they're a week late. They're a week late and a dime short, right? Right there, that store said summer 2026 we're open. Well, summer's there. It's not open, is it? See, that's why I do this. I talk a lot, I do a lot, I do this. But when we drive, and I didn't think about talking like that, I seen the sign that said summer 2026. Say, hey, it's already summer. It's not open. How come we see, I just drove a few places even before I got on TV. I call this the TV. I see people homeless, drinking booze bottles and all that, laying all over the sidewalk. Most of them are African American. How come I see that? Why are we doing that? Why is that being allowed in our city, right? Why is there vagrancy being allowed in our city? Why did I go yesterday down by Wolf Point, one of the most expensive areas of the city of Chicago? Wolf Point, that's where the three rivers connect. The North Branch, the South Branch, and the branch that goes out to Lake Michigan. It's the three rivers, right? That's what they call them, right? It's one river, but it's three. Wolf Point. Go over there once in a while. Old man Kennedy owns that. He bought all that land from the original guys, right? That was the most famous place because you could control the trade up and down the rivers, right? That's why whoever controlled that made money. There's a migrant using her child to make money. So why, when I went over there, and I went to the viaducts, and you just seen, there you go, man. There you go. Smoking on a CTA bus stop, which is illegal. You're not supposed to smoke on CTA property. See that there? There's people all around her. See her? See her smoking right there? See that there? She's smoking at a CTA station. When you're standing there, none of those people say nothing or do nothing. See that there? She's smoking there and living there, right? That lady is smoking a cigarette on CTA property, right? Right? You're not supposed to smoke on CTA property. That's it. That's pretty rude to everybody else. Should call the police on her. She's smoking a cigarette right there. And everybody can't sit in the bus stop, right? That's how it is. Why isn't she taking care of it? Right? Call the police grab her and put her in a detox. That's what you do. You don't need to put her in prison. You don't need to go to prison. You can give her a ticket for smoking on a bus stop. You just seen the law breaking right in front of you. That's law breaking. And everybody's scared to say something. That's why I said it. You should tell her she shouldn't smoke there, right? Where's all the police officers? Every day we see police officers here. Dozens of them. Where are they at today? You see any police officers? It's Friday night. Should be police here. You don't see them, right? It's tourists here, right? Kind of wild, ain't it? See that? That's some guy right there. It's a homeless guy right there. I've seen him before. What you got? I just showed you an illegal activity. You don't need to put the lady in prison. I ain't saying put her in prison. But you need to do something so she understands you can't do whatever you want in certain places. You can smoke a cigarette. Yeah, I ain't saying smoking is illegal. But that's a bus station. It's illegal to smoke at CTA bus stops and bus stations. That's what that was. She was breaking the law. Period. And that's city law, CTA rules, and state law. It's public smoking, right? There's certain rules against that. Yet no one enforces those rules. So what's going to happen? Somebody might get aggravated because they're going to have asthma. Maybe they have a kid there. And guess what happens? It creates a conflict between the two. So either the person smoking or the person that don't want them to smoke gets into a conflict. And guess what happens? They arrest either one. And the cop sits back and laughs. And who laughs? Brandon Johnson, he makes what? Quality of life rules. Do you know what that is? That's Brandon Johnson, quality of life. You don't get even a ticket anymore for smoking on the trains or on the CTA areas. It's called quality of life. They have a counseling session with you. You know who counsels you? The Chicago Police Department. That's when you hear it on the radio, quality of life. So it's so imagine this. The city, through an executive order, sounds familiar? Executive order? Said he will not enforce city, CTA, or state smoking rules or anti-smoking rules in public spaces and public transportation. Brandon Johnson did that through doing a quality of life policy change inside of the police department. That's what happened. That one little thing, just the smoking part, is that. What I was telling you about Wolf Point. What did you see? You can see it there. 28. We're going to listen to the news. And then we'll go back to Wolf Point. Remind me, we're going to talk about Wolf Point, right? That's an important part. You just seen a lady smoking on a CTA bus stop. No one could be underneath the bus stop. So it started raining. You couldn't be under there and protect yourself from the rain, which those bus stops are there to protect you from the rain. Because why? There was a person smoking there and the police don't do nothing about it. That's why. There you go. There's some police right there, right? But I tell them, they'll laugh at me, right? Right there. There's 2 police right there. All right, let's listen to the news, right? Oh, man, I hit the wrong button. Oh, man, let's get to the right button. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. You don't want to listen to music. I'll get banned. Let's see. Right there. Let's go. 4:30 news. Local news comes first.
Close, huh? Yeah, man. She's definitely the one. What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler. I could use some help with that. Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 105.9 and WBBM Newsradio.com.
4:30, good Friday afternoon. I'm Lisa Fielding. Here are the top stories on News Radio WBBM. U.S. forces conduct strikes on Iran in response to an Iranian drone attack on a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Closer to home, city leaders say they have a plan to keep hundreds of thousands of people safe during this Sunday's big Pride parade.
This is Glenn Marshall. Police need help identifying a suspect accused of shoving an elderly rider down the stairs at a CTA Red Line station.
And a mistrial declared in the arson case against a man accused of setting the Palisades fire out west in business.
Down arrows on Wall Street today. The Dow fell 45 points. The Nasdaq lost 61. I'm Erica Herskowitz at Bloomberg.
Cloudy skies, 63 degrees at 4:31. Topping our news at the half hour. U.S. forces conducted strikes on Iran today. This is in response to the Iranian drone strike on a Singapore-flagged cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command says the U.S. targeted Iranian missile and drone storage locations as well as coastal radar sites. The strikes were announced shortly after President Trump told reporters in the Oval Office that, quote, "You're going to find out if the U.S. will respond." Elsewhere, Venezuelans took the search for missing loved ones into their own hands in the aftermath of back-to-back earthquakes. The death toll now at 920, but that number is expected to rise as first responders and rescuers continue to search for more than 51,000 people left unaccounted for. Meantime, an international aid effort accelerated. Dozens of rescue teams from around the globe arriving in Venezuela or due to arrive there soon to help. The Trump administration said it was mobilizing $150 million in aid for Venezuela and would ease sanctions for the time being. And former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton pled guilty today to a single count of illegal retention of national security documents. Prosecutors say he faces up to 5 years in prison and has agreed to pay a fine of more than $2 million. Here's ABC's Pierre Thomas.
Well, it was a somber and very serious moment for the former National Security Advisor, in which he had to admit and did admit that he illegally retained classified information of a national defense nature. The information that he retained was hacked by a cyber actor that the government believes is tied to Iran.
The Justice Department alleged in court papers that Bolton's diary-like pages were typed transcriptions of handwritten notes that were then sent to his wife and daughter via text. 4:33, back at home. Hundreds of thousands of people to Chicago and across the country expected to descend on the north side this Sunday for the city's annual 55th annual Pride Parade. And police and local leaders say they do have a plan to keep people safe during and after the big event. WBBM political editor Jeff Buckholtz reports from Lakeview.
We believe we are ready for another amazing Pride weekend.
Northside Alderman Bennett Lawson says police, parade organizers, and his office have worked for months on a plan to manage the crowd of people that he says may be fueled by concern concern about political shifts targeting the LGBTQ plus community. Jolie Robinson is the executive director of the Center on Halstead.
People see the city of Chicago as a beacon of hope.
The parade itself is usually safe, but it's the hours afterward that can devolve into acts of violence. Angel Navales is CPD's chief of constitutional policing.
We're looking at all the intelligence that comes in so we can prepare for it ahead of time.
Alderman Lawson says the other big safety concern Sunday is something no one can control.
It's going to be a hot one on Sunday.
He says parade goers should pace themselves, stay hydrated, and look for a cooling bus to get a break. The parade steps off from Broadway and Sheridan.
Maybe I need to call the Office of Constitutional Policing and ask them if it's okay to arrest a reporter. I got an idea, and I'm going to put this in the notes. Yes, John, get the person who's in charge of constitutional policing and say, was this a legal arrest when they arrested me filming? I like that. That's good. See, when you listen to radio, you learn things.
Grabbed his shoulder and shoved him down the staircase before fleeing. Now, the victim suffered minor injuries, but police described the suspect as a teenager wearing a green and black camo mask, a black hooded sweatshirt, and gray gym shoes. Anyone with information is asked to call Chicago Police. Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9.
CTA, that was a CTA attack.
Chicago police officer has been suspended in a case of revenge porn.
Chicago police officer Diana Valentine allegedly confronted the father of her child while he was on a date with another woman in the Loop in 2022 and told them she was pregnant and hit their car with a roller skate. The Sun-Times says an internal investigation revealed that Valentine then posted sexually explicit images of the couple to Instagram. Valentine was given a 5-day suspension. The statute of limitations for bringing revenge porn charges had lapsed. Terry Keshner, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
There's been a lot of severe weather lately in the area, and the Elgin fire chief this week clarified when the city's warning sirens will be activated. This is after some confusion this week.
Chief Rob Sagan, speaking during a meeting of the city council, acknowledged that there have been complaints about the number of times the sirens have been activated. He looked at what other communities are doing and considered different tones, distinguishing between tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. He said it's not practical. The sirens will sound for both.
We've agonized how do we help the community be safe, but yet address some of the concerns. We need to notify. It doesn't matter the threat at that moment.
Before Sagan spoke, the sirens went off.
Hey, we need to adjourn the meeting and go to the...
After the meeting resumed, Sagan noted that was a good start to a presentation about the emergency warning system. Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Coming up in a minute, we'll check in on the roads, your heat wave coming next week, and your weather forecast and your low gas prices next.
At U.S. Waterproofing, when we're called to fix a basement water problem, we get it.
So here, we got all of these newspapers and reporters now. There you go. This guy laid out right there. There you go. On the train saying, look how safe it is at 10 o'clock in the afternoon on the pink line, or there somewhere on the brown line up on or by the Skokie Swift or something like that. Kind of funny, kind of ridiculous videos, you know what I mean? I used to comment on this stuff years ago already. They'd have the canine dog patrols, the CPD. The CPD had a lot of pictures up there. I should collect all the pictures CPD had. CPD CTA patrol. Say, wait, they all said it was safe 2 years ago. I'm gonna get all those pictures. I'm gonna look for them. Say, what happened? Well, how did it go from safe to unsafe to gun departments and now we're back to being safe again? It's kind of weird, isn't it? So we were safe. Then somehow, this was the statistics yesterday, and we'll listen to the heat wave.
Like you're missing out on meeting great candidates.
So this has just happened yesterday. They said there's a 77% reduction in CTA crimes. But you said, I don't get that. But didn't you say it was safe? There was no crimes? There was a 123% reduction, they said, in January. So when did it go up? It's... According to them, it always was going down and was the safest it's ever been. But for some reason, yesterday said that we just dropped the crimes by 77%. That doesn't even make sense. Doesn't make sense. We'll talk about that later. Wolf Point, that's what we're going to talk about when we come back.
Employees pay. Plus, get crazy low interest rates on most new Ford models at Packey Web Ford. In Oswego, the Meyer on Route 34 and Douglas has gas for $3.83 a gallon. In Richmond Park, the Walmart on Central and Sauk Trail has gas for $3.73 a gallon. It's 4:38. Traffic now, sponsored by Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, Sewer, and Electric. And here's Neil Fiorito.
All right, Lisa, our trouble spot on the tollways along the Veterans Memorial
There's
southbound.
empty
Past the Reagan
See that
here,
business?
and
It's
crosswalking
empty.
at least a lane involving a pickup truck. Alex,
That business is empty, and so is the other one. They're both empty.
Mercedes-Benz of Hoffman Estates traffic tip line 855-780 Road. Good to hear from you today. The Veterans Tollway southbound is jammed up from Butterfield again to the Reagan with this crash. Looking over on Route 53, just your typical roadwork delays on either side, getting through Rolling Meadows and Palatine. You have delays along I-80 through Joliet, and slight traffic eastbound making your way through Tinley Park. On 8094 in northwest Indiana, brake lights westbound in spots from the toll road all the way to the Ford. Heavy traffic eastbound from the Ford to Kennedy, and spotty delays from 65 to the Indiana toll road. I-94 with a backup eastbound passing State Road 49 to before US 421 in Michigan City. Long-term construction in the left lane. Eden's delays continue outbound from Peterson to before Dundee Road following an earlier crash. All lanes back open there about 30 minutes out, 45 to drive in. The Kennedy's an hour 23 inbound, an hour 5 out to O'Hare. Eisenhower in an hour 25 from I-90, an hour 12 to the Jane Addams Tollway. On the Stevenson coming in about an hour, 55 out to the Veterans. Dan Ryan 35 out, 21 in. 57 about 17 either way. Ford going out 26, you're 18 inbound. To South Lakeshore Drive on the break southbound in spots from Fullerton down to Roosevelt. You're backed up 53rd to Hayes, and northbound traffic in spots between 18th Drive and Chicago Avenue. From the Metro Traffic Center, next report 448 News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
WBBM AccuWeather. It will turn out partly cloudy as we head into tonight. We'll get down to a low near 60. Intervals of clouds and sunshine heading into tomorrow. We'll get to a high of 77 tomorrow afternoon, and we'll be in the low 70s at the lakefront. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 63. Might be a stray thunderstorm early on Sunday. Most of the area will likely stay dry, though. Clouds will break forth some sun and will be warmer and more humid in the afternoon. Sunday's high 85. 63 at O'Hare right now, 65 at Midway, 62 in Park Ridge, 62 at the lakefront, going down to 60 tonight. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson.
It is 4:41. We've now learned that one of the 14 people rescued after two boats crashed on Lake Michigan last night has died.
The medical examiner says the person killed is a 26-year-old woman from the near west side. The crash happened around Monroe Harbor shortly before midnight. The Chicago Fire Department had taken 5 people to the hospital, 4 of whom were initially in critical condition. 9 other people declined treatment. The Illinois Department of Natural Resources is handling the investigation. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
After 2 days of deliberations, a federal judge has declared a mistrial in the arson case about the origin of that devastating Palisades fire back in January of 2025. 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderneck is accused of setting that fire and faces federal arson charges. ABC's Alex Stone reports prosecutors say they will try again.
The argument was that on New Year's Eve that he was distraught, he was angry, he was driving an Uber, went up, started that fire, and then the LA Fire Department came and put it out. But his defense team saying that he was being used as a scapegoat for the LA Fire Department's mistakes.
Rinderneck pled not guilty in October and faces up to 45 years in prison. Private equity billionaire Leon Black refused to answer certain questions about his dealings with Jeffrey Epstein when he appeared behind closed doors on Capitol Hill.
Going into the interview, House Oversight Chair James Comer said of all the people he's brought in,
this one has the potential to be the most groundbreaking.
But 2 hours later, Comer said billionaire Leon Black refused to answer questions about non-disclosure agreements. Comer said his committee has now subpoenaed Black for his testimony and for the NDAs. The private equity magnate told the panel he had no knowledge of Epstein's heinous conduct. The top committee Democrat Robert Garcia says this.
Jeffrey Epstein would not have been able to commit the horrific crimes without the support of Mr. Black.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Every day, millions of dollars move through Chicago's economy.
See?
Most people don't have time.
I like what that guy said. Oh, we're Epstein, right? First of all, where's the files at, Trump? You said you were going to release all the files. That's another reason I voted for Trump. He said he was going to release the files. He didn't. They're holding back files. They never released all the files. And then the worst thing is they released files with the victims' names on it, and then he redacted the perpetrator's name. That was some nasty stuff you did, bro. Whatever, man. You're doing your thing, man, but I get it, man. Trump, you shouldn't have did that, man. That was some bogus stuff, and plus you went to war, man. That was 2 strikes against you. You can't run again, but if you ran again, I wouldn't vote for you because you lied. That's it. I don't like politicians who do that stuff. That's it. Same thing with Brandon Johnson. That dude lies every day. So let's get back to Wolf Point. But there's one I'll say about that testimony. What did the guy say? Epstein couldn't have done what he did without you. You were his money guy. You had to know well, I didn't know what he was doing. Sure, you knew what he was doing. Don't lie, bro. You kind of get it? How do you run billions of dollars of stuff and then say you don't know nothing? You're the accountant. That's a lie. It's a lie. They were paying for the trips. They were paying for abortions. They were paying for all kinds of stuff. He knows what happened. He's a liar. Put him in prison. Next guy, put him in prison. Lady, put her in prison. Who cares? So back to Wolf Point. Wolf Point. I was there yesterday. Wolf Point was owned by John F. Kennedy's dad, right? And it's where the 3 parts of the Chicago River come together. From the lake, one going north, one going south. And you seen my video last night. And we went under the 3 or 4 train bridges over there, and what did it say? No tents. No tents. We call police. No tents. And they had some signs up there. I don't know what they had. And then when we go to the chocolate factory, if you want to go today, I'll show you these signs. It says the same thing. You can't be here. This tent site is closed. So not only do they say you can't have a tent there, they say the site. That means that somehow the city designated that illegal tent site. So I don't even know how you can do that. Because camping in Chicago on a sidewalk or in a park is illegal. It's a domicile law, right? You can't do that. Why? Because you know why we have these laws? I talked about this the other day or 2 days ago when we were talking about the locks on Marietta's buildings. Those padlocks? That's from the Blessed Angels fires, right? You know where all the domicile stuff comes from? You can't have a tent? It came from the Chicago fire. That's why the city burned down, because you had all these shanties and shacks all around. Then after the Chicago fire, they said, you know what, maybe we can't have all these shacks and tents and whatever other whatnots people were living in. Then Mrs. O'Leary's scout kicked over the lantern and burned half the city down, right? So what did the city leaders there then say? They said, you know what, we're going to fix the city, but we're not going to do it twice. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass some laws, like no camping in certain areas. You can't have a house that you make out of whatever materials you want. We're going to actually have laws that if you live in a place, you have to have a fire-coded, regulated dwelling. It's called a domicile. There's our laws. These are old laws from a long time ago. And then all of a sudden, when did that fire happen? 1870 something? So what, 1870, 220, so I don't know, 150 years later, you got some idiot that says he's a teacher and he's an organizer from Elgin, says, oh yeah, tents are okay. Carlos Rosa, oh, tents are okay in the parks. Well, wait, the propane tank blew up. It's all related to Wolf Point. You'll hear it. Why? There's a guy with a face mask on a dirt bike. There you go, man. There you go, man. See that guy there? Face mask, dirt bike, no license plate. Right here in back of us. You'll see he's going to come up here. Watch. You'll see this. Watch this. Right here. He's coming up. Right here. Watch. Right here. Watch. Right there. No license plates. He's got a face mask on riding around the city. You think he lives in this neighborhood? I don't think he lives here. If he lives here, he wouldn't be doing that, right? There you go. Breaking the law. How many of these lawbreakers have we showed you? Smoking smoking in the bus stop, exploiting your children. You got this guy here. I seen a dude with a booze bottle laying on the ground. It's all over the place. There's no enforcement. So back to Wolf Point, right? So we have all these laws that you can't be living anywhere and however way you want by, because we don't want the city to burn, right? Then we have pestilence law. Why? Well, we have pestilence law because the Spanish flu, right? We don't want to pass around diseases, right? So what do we have? We have these laws that says when you live somewhere, you have to not have rats and roaches and nastiness around you. And some places do. I've lived in roach-infested and rat-infested places, but if you live in a tent, in a park, or in an alley, then that you can't stop it. So that's why we have these rules and laws, municipal codes. It's called a municipal code. We have a building code. We have a fire code. We have all these codes. Why? Because of all the things that we passed in the past. Fires, diseases, black plagues. We have even laws about riots and groups and food and all of these things, right? And then 150 years later, you get a guy that becomes the mayor. And he goes, you can have a tent here. You can have a tent here. You can have a tent here. Whatever you want. But let's get back to Wolf Point. And the article is up. That's that picture there, you see. And then you hear people calling. There was a call just a month or two ago. A lady called and says, hey, there's these guys out here in the park. I think they might be cooking drugs, meth, and they have all these tanks there, right? They cook meth out there. Those guys, that's what they do out there. They cook meth. You do know that. Those tent camps are mostly drug camps. Here, I'll show you. They do porno here too. They do hooker stuff out of these cars. I learned that a little while ago, right? Right there, that car. He's probably selling drugs out of that car right there. So we got these rules that say you can't do it, and then you got what? A mayor that says, you know what, we don't need those rules. I actually have a video from the north side where they were camping on a person's grass in front of his house and alongside his house. They were all surrounding him, all the migrants up on the north side in a place. I videotaped it, and they cleaned it up in a week or two. The next week after my videotape, they cleaned it. They said, oh, we can't remove them. They're on a public way. I said, what do you mean you can't camp there? And I videotaped. And when the ladies call and they say they're doing drug, this dude's doing piping, right? He's smoking pipes right here, right? And, says they're cooking meth with these propanes out here. Can you get rid of them? The cops say, you know what? We can't get rid of the tents. I got that video. I'm gonna get you that video. Where the propane tank blew up at a tent city. And the lady calls, says they're doing bad stuff over here and there's going to be an explosion. Sure enough, there's an explosion, and she calls up and says, oh yeah, we'll call. And she goes, you need to get rid of these guys. They're dangerous. And they said, oh, the dispatch said, we can't do that. They told us we can't do that. What did my video show you yesterday at Wolf Point, where John F. Kennedy's dad owns all the land? What did it show you? Yes, you can. Right. Yes, you can remove them. In fact, they put up signs that say no tents. So look at those pictures. I got the video. I got a whole bunch of pictures. I'm gonna do a big expose on that thing. How come at Wolf Point, underneath all the train viaducts, they have signs that say no camping, no tents? And how come when a lady calls and says, hey, they're doing drugs in those tents across the street in a public park, let alone, where you're not supposed to do drugs, you're not supposed to do booze, you're not supposed to smoke. And the cop on the radio says, well, we ain't doing nothing about it. We can't do nothing about it. But yet there's signs in Wolf Point that says no tents. Is that two separate laws? Is that two separate privileges? Are we living in another city? Are we? No, we're not. We're not living in another city. We're living in one city. We're living in a city where the mayor wants all the black people, all the Mexicans out, the migrants out, the poor people, and white people. He wants all of us out. And you're saying, John, that's crazy. That means there'll be nobody here. No. He only wants people that are loyal to his party, to the liberal ideology of what? Extortion, criminality, incompetency, theft, pedophilia, raping, murdering, and chaos. That's what he wants. And if you're against any of those things, you don't get to stay. You get to go out. That includes gangbangers. That includes business people. That includes churches. That includes anybody that doesn't go along with Brandon Johnson's philosophy. Because his, I think, is about a philosophy. It's an ideology. And if you don't go along with him, you're out. That's why at Wolf Point, they get to kick the people out with the tents. We're going to drive pretty soon right here up to State Street in Ida B. Wells, right in the middle of our downtown. Ida B. Wells and State Street. Ida B. Wells, everybody knows who she was, right? She fought for the poor. That's why she's famous. She says you can't abuse the poor, especially for suffrage and women's rights. She says you can't abuse the poor, you can't exploit the poor, and you shouldn't use the poor. That's not right. That's what Ida B. Wells would. Read some of her books. But yet, when we go to Ida B. Wells and State Street, what are you going to see pretty soon? You're going to see a bunch of cardboard boxes. Cardboard boxes. You see that cop right there? You want me to ask the cop? Why don't you remove the cardboard box? What is he going to tell me? Get lost? And he'll probably say, where's your blinkers at? I'm going to give you a ticket for talking to me. Say, yeah, but those cardboard boxes, you can't be on the side. He goes, yeah, they can. And I'll say, well, why is there a sign over there in Wolf Point that says you can't be? See the difference? It has nothing to do with the law. It has to do with the guy that pushed you in the water and wants you to drown. Because when you drown, and then he rescues you, you're going to think he rescued you. When he didn't. He's the one that pushed you in. Brandon Johnson is pushing us into the water. He's an extremely dangerous individual. Extremely. And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get to the radio calls. He sent up all these check things with all these, whoever they're running around now, doing these crime interventions, whatever their thing is, the gun department, which I seen them giving out checks today at the police department. Someone's going to get killed. He's going to kill somebody. He's already killed people under his watch. But he's going to be directly responsible. And I hope it doesn't happen. I pray to God. It does not happen. But my rational mind, not my emotional mind, my rational mind, the mind that thinks of what can happen, I believe, and I hope it doesn't, someone is going to get killed doing that work. Because when you're involved in violence, when you're involved in drugs, when you're involved in gangs, when you're involved in domestic emotional abuse issues, there is no white, black, red, blue, yellows. There is no color. It's just violence. There is no rational thinking. And I don't know if anybody on this show understands what violence is. And if you've been a victim of violence, I hope you have never been a victim of violence. I hope you never had to experience any violence in your life. But if you have, or you were perpetrating violence on the other side, then I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. Violence is uncontrollable. And a man who creates violence intentionally, which I'm making the claim now on this show, on June 26, 2026 at 4:56 p.m., I'm saying for a fact, Brandon Johnson intentionally created the conditions that fostered violence and harmed people and possibly resulted in the murder of individuals, including children, in the city of Chicago. Possibly. But I think he did it, and I think he did it intentionally. And the reason I say that is because of what we've seen in the last few days and what I've seen today. Handing out checks, having something that says we're going to fix this and pay people to be on his campaign to say that they're doing anti-violence work, when there's no way you can fix anti-violence in one summer. That's not going to happen, and that's not going to happen by paying people money. That's not how it works. All right, let's quiet down on that. That's my Wolf Point story. Got that? There's places where you can camp and have tents where you bother the people, and then there's places where you can't camp, right? And the city decides, I'm gonna see if these guys we gotta do some video. I know one of these guys here, man. All right, let's be quiet. That's enough of my talking there. I know one of these guys here, man. Let's see. This guy in the glasses here. When are we gonna make some videos, man? I see you on the internet. That guy in the cap, I see him on the internet all the time. SubX.News. We gotta do some collabing, man. He knows who the fuck I am. There's a few guys I know me because I got locked up the last time. What are you guys doing? Maybe I'll get some food. You guys want to eat or what? I'll go get some chicken or something. Are you gonna be out here all night or not? Where you guys gonna be at? Maybe I'll go to JJ's, get some chicken in Manbell Park. We'll talk and do some. Let's make some money doing some videos and shit. All right? Nice seeing you, man. You're famous, bro. See you, fellas. Right? Look, we gotta figure this out. Those guys are out there hustling. You got it? And those guys know what's going on. Does that mean you gotta do illegal stuff? No, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to get to where you gotta get to. Let's listen to 5 o'clock news.
Against an Antioch man.
And the U.S. carries out retaliatory strikes against Iran. More ahead from ABC News. Business.
I'm Erica Herskowitz at Bloomberg. A losing session on Wall Street today. The Dow fell 45 points. The Nasdaq slipped 61.
Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 60. Cool tomorrow, lower 70s at the lakefront. Right now, 63 degrees at 5 o'clock.
From ABC News, I'm Mike Tabusky. The U.S. military carrying out strikes against Iran today, with CENTCOM calling it a response to yesterday's attack by Iran on a commercial ship in the Strait of Hormuz. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has the latest.
U.S. Central Command said Friday it launched a, quote, powerful response to the attack by Iran on Thursday on a commercial ship transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The military says U.S. aircraft hit Iranian missile and drone storage locations and coastal radar sites. Iran on Thursday hit a Singapore-flagged cargo ship with a one-way attack drone. An hour before the announcement by CENTCOM, President Trump indicated to reporters in the Oval Office there would be a U.S. response. When asked if Iran would face any consequences, the president said, quote, you'll find out.
I don't like the fact that they took a shot yesterday.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
American aid has started arriving in Venezuela following this week's massive earthquakes that left at least 920 people dead. Billy Richardson is director of logistics for the disaster relief organization Global Empowerment Mission.
I mean, right now your greatest needs are your basic hygiene and basic food, right? It's the first thing they need to survive their initial part, and then we're going to start working on your secondary needs where your shelter gets more and more important and everything like that.
More than 3,300 people were wounded in the quakes. Former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton pleaded guilty today to a single count of illegal retention of national security information. ABC News Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas was in the courtroom.
For him is hoping that he will get a similar situation that former CIA Director Petraeus and some of the others who did not get jail time. That's what they're hoping for. But to be clear, as of right now, he faces months, if not years, in prison, depending on what the judge decides to do.
And a California judge declaring a mistrial today due to a hung jury in the case against a 29-year-old accused of sparking the Palisades fire. You're listening to ABC News.
Let me tell you something.
I like what Ms. Zedora said. Brandon Johnson didn't even know his brother. He knew his brother, but he makes excuses how he's so sorry about his brother who died homeless and addicted. Look, I don't get along with my family. I've said this story a few times. I don't get along with my family. My mom, my dad. I do Mother's Day, Father's Day once in a while here and there. I say hello. I mean, we had a certain thing in our family and it didn't work out. So we do our own thing. We're independent. But if my dad or somebody called and said my dad or my brother or one of my brothers or my sister or my nephews or my nieces or something was wrong with them, even though we don't get along, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to help them out. They're going to live with me if I can do that, and I will do that. You kind of get where I'm going with that? If my brother is, or my sister or my mom or my dad is like that, then I'm going to do everything in my power to help them. That's my blood. Even though I don't like them, and maybe it might cause some consternations. But we're going to take care of that, right? We're going to do that. And that's what Ms. Zedora just said. Right? 5:02.
5:03. Happy Friday, the 26th day of June. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining
For
us today.
sale sign, right? See that for sale sign there? Look at that. For sale.
For the most part, temperatures in the 60s.
Another for sale sign. Look at that. Right next to it. Look at that.
Monday and Tuesday,
see that?
Very hot. The AccuWeather 5-day forecast as we move into the 4th of July holiday. The AccuWeather forecast coming up at 5:15. But first, earlier this month, federal authorities say they foiled a violent attack planned for the UFC event at the White House. Now, as WBBM's Glenn Marshall tells us, a Chicago man is facing charges for trying to cover his tracks.
20-year-old Alexander Iniguez Mercado of Chicago is charged with obstruction of justice for allegedly deleting evidence after the FBI contacted him about the planned attack on the UFC event at the White House on June 14th. Prosecutors say Mercado denied plans to travel to Washington, then uninstalled the Signal messaging app he had administered, erasing related communications. 7 others across multiple states face charges in the same investigation. Mercado could face up to 20 years in federal prison if convicted. Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A 41-year-old Antioch man faces more than a dozen felony charges related to child pornography.
When Gene Lowry's phone was seized, investigators didn't have probable cause for a forensic examination. The phone was placed in evidence where it sat for 3 years until a relative of Lowry's was interviewed in an unrelated case. She alleged, while talking about another matter, that Lowry sexually abused her 6 years ago. He was babysitting her, she said. That allegation gave investigators what they needed for an examination of the phone sitting in evidence since 2023, and they allegedly found 600 child sex abuse files. Lowry is facing 14 felony charges, all related to children, including predatory criminal sexual assault of a child. Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Dozens of workers at the BP oil refinery in Northwest Indiana held a rally outside British Petroleum headquarters in downtown Chicago today. Eric Schultz is president of United Steelworkers Local 71. He says BP should return to the bargaining table.
You don't lock people out because you wanted to bargain in good faith. You don't lock people out because you respect them. You work through your issues. Bargaining is supposed to be compromised.
The lockout of the workers at the BP refinery has been underway since March. BP released a statement saying in part that the company values its employees and respects their right to assemble, and we will continue negotiating in good faith with the union. Chicago police and organizers of this weekend's Pride Parade on the North Side say they believe they're ready to keep people safe during and after the event. Hundreds of thousands are expected to gather along Halstead for Chicago's 55th parade, celebrating the LGBTQ plus community. CPD Chief of Community Policing.
We're going to go north. We're going to check out a new spot that I've been watching a little bit.
Any acts of violence or vandalism that happened in the evening hours after the parade.
We're going to go north and then back into the city.
To teen takeovers. Like I said, our responsibility is to respond immediately, make arrests if we have to immediately, restore order so we can continue to celebrate.
Cooling buses will also be set up along with the parade route to help people deal with extreme heat that we're expecting. The parade is set to step off from Broadway and Sheridan at 11 a.m. on Sunday. Well, people around Chicago will soon start seeing new messages that urge them to keep litter in its place.
Southside Alderman David Moore says he's been pitching an anti-litter campaign for years.
So many adults throw McDonald's bags out the car, and you see it. And so we have to encourage and keep pushing people to keep Chicago clean.
He joined Mayor Johnson and other city leaders at 68th and Ashland for the launch of the Keep Chicago Clean campaign.
I'm asking you all to be good stewards of our city.
Streets and Sanitation Commissioner Cole Stollard says his department picks up 62,000 large-sized garbage bags full of litter every year.
We simply cannot do it alone.
And you'll see signs reminding you of that on CTA buses and trains, at Divvy stations, and at the city's airports. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Illini Athletic Director Jonathan Whitman says he's recovering nicely after some eye procedures. Whitman underwent surgeries on both of his eyes in the spring to repair detached retinas, an issue that presented itself right after Illinois' Final Four game against UConn. He says the recovery process was anything but simple. The hardest part was a 6-week period where he could not see. Whitman says he's very thankful for the support he's received during the recovery process. It's 5:08. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. And here's Neil Fiorito.
Some big delays on the Stevenson this afternoon. The inbound side from the Veterans Tollway to Route 83. We're getting reports of a medical emergency blocking the left lane. You're about an hour to drive in. Going outbound, not too bad. It's actually getting a little bit better. Close to 50. You're at 47 out to 355. Eden's 41 in and 24 out to Lake Cook Road. A delay on the spur westbound approaching the Tri-State. Kennedy inbound heavy in spots from the River Road toll, the pass to Wintrust Miro near North Avenue and into the Chamber and interchange. Still about an hour and a half to drive in from the airport. 52 off the junction. Outbound 41 to Montrose. A little slower in the express. 56 will get you out to O'Hare. The Eisenhower inbound an hour. 20 from I-90 in. 43 in for Manheim. Going out 37 to Manheim Road. An hour drive to the Jane Addams Tollway. South side the Dan Ryan 28 out. 19 coming.
That's some radio calls. Let's get to the nitty gritty of today, right? And let's see what's going on the street. Oh, there you go. There's some cop here, right? And this is a hot spot here, I've been realizing, right here. And there's another hot spot I gotta go check out.
3214.
It's always by the Jewel.
Plate on the ticket, please. Go ahead, plate. The Illinois George Charlie 79757, and I have the CL when you're ready. Driver's license, John 525-4208-0242. Alright, do you have any other ones you want in there? A favor, I have everyone else's stuff, but something popped with this guy. I don't know if it's been low. Let me know. Alright, give me 1 second. The 88 Adam and Boy. 88 Adam and Boy. Event number O'Hare Blue Line, please. 08855. 08855. Ready. 83 ready. Red line 55th. I'm also. 08859. 08859. 738 Adam. 9 Adam.
May we please have that number? Training 7096. Found Purple Ashy Blue Device.
There you go. See, there's migrants here and other stuff going on here at this place. There's a bunch of people out here, right? Always by the Jewel. You'll see the migrants are right there, right? Those are all migrants right there.
Alright, it's 08873.
And you got a dude all doped up right there, right? See the guy on drugs right there? They sell drugs, they do migrant stuff here. There's all kinds of wild stuff happening here. See that guy right there? Look at him. Right there, right on the sidewalk.
08878.
There's cars coming, right? Oh, I was gonna go
3214, I did not forget about you. I'm still reading through all this.
It must be, this place was heavy drug use at one time, and then it was okay for a little while, now it's back again, watch.
Don't match, so,
there you go. There's somebody doing drugs right there, see that there?
Yeah, I think it's just hitting on the birthday.
He's doing drugs right underneath his thing, right, while people walk by,
things,
see that?
but nothing, the warrant is not his. He's on probation.
See that right there?
There's an officer safety alert for him. He must register.
Wait a minute.
He must register annually, but he's compliant with that. So he's clear.
Thank you so much for your help. Time check.
There you go, man. That's Chicago right there.
1635 on the 26th of June, 2026.
7383.
That's right here. It's 5:12 p.m.
7383 Henry.
There's more drug addicts over here. I got a whole video I did 3 years ago here.
Can I get another number? Red line.
08903.
Person's doing drugs. They're not homeless, they're on drugs. They're doing drugs underneath their blanket there, or whatever that is, jacket, right? See that? They're doing drugs. That's a drug addict. Look, there's people walking around with little children. They were doing hypodermic. I got a video out here from 3 years. Look it up. Needles, Hacienda, somewhere here. Look it up. Needles or hypodermic. Google it. SubX.News, SubX.News. They were doing hypodermic drugs right here, 10, 20 feet from here, while people were walking by, and the needles were all on the ground and in the grass, right over there, where those guys are walking. Now you got this person doing drugs right there, right in public. She ain't, it looks like a lady. She ain't in an alley. She ain't in a park. She's right next to everybody. See that there? You're watching a drug addict doing drugs right there on the sidewalk. No one does nothing about it. See? People walking around. See that there? How they're looking at her? Pretty messed up, ain't it? Now they're going to try to take another hit off the pipe. See? And that's what the person's doing right now. This is not hidden. I'm not nowhere. I'm sitting on the curb right here. Look, people are walking by. See that there? You're watching active drug use on State Street, State and Grand. I told you they deal drugs around here, right? See that? That's what you're watching. Hey, there's people here. They're blowing out smoke, doing whatever they're doing. I told you they were doing hypodermic needles. Look it up. Right. Person's jacked up. See that there? And then just walk. Look, there's people walking all around there. Did you see that there? Look how dangerous that is. You see that there? They do drugs. They were doing hypodermic needles where that person has right there. The needles were all in that place right there. Somebody stabbed a cop over here. Tried to stab the cop once. There you go. SubX.News.
09010.
There you go. That's how our city runs. If I say something or do something, I get in trouble. People who watch the video say I'm the bad guy for whatever I'm doing. I'm not doing that. I'm in my truck. I'm in my truck and there's somebody doing drugs right in front of me. But I'm the bad guy, right? That person disappeared. I know where they disappeared to. I'll show you. Want to see?
Alright, it's going to be 09020. 09020. 7389 Adam. 89 Adam. Please have an event number, Blue Line, Cassie Hope. Sure, it's going to be 09028. 09028. 10-4. 7353. 7353. Number for Howard and Red, please. 09029.
They do a lot of drugs. They had a whole drug hangout right in this little courtyard area. It's a mini courtyard. This place has been abandoned for about 5 or 6 years. I got a whole video here. Look it up. Illinois and State Street. 3 years ago, right? In that area. You see there where the glass is? They sit right down there and they do drugs right in that spot right there. Right in that spot. There's a guy stabbed a cop right here, man.
070 Units at 12 and Citywide, we're getting an assault in progress. 1911 West Ohio Street, 1911 West Ohio Street, and the alley. Theo's calling. He's trying to move out. There's a male riding a bicycle in the alley, threatening him with bodily harm. Nothing further. Zone 3, District 12, clear. 3 is ready. 80 ready, 7383 Eddie, go. Check it out, the number, please. 55th arrest. Take it at 09144, 09144. 383 Frank. 83 Frank.
There's supposed to be a shooting just happened. I gotta check it out. Somebody just posted a shooting just happened.
Take it at 09170, 091.
Cermak and Kenneth. Just happened a few minutes ago. I'm gonna pull up here.
Can I get a number for Museum Campus, please? Sure, second bed
09191.
Boy, thank you. 383 Charlie. What's that number for 79th red line?
Take event 090.
Let me pull over here. There's a shooting just happened. Let me figure out where it is.
22nd Michigan Citywide getting a ticket of a battery 11050 South Ashland on 10 and Ashland. Third party reported 15 people are fighting. One of them has a white colored dog with them. Details will follow. I think it's gas station. But don't know.
388. Go ahead. Can you give me a number for trip mission Blue Line at Western? Show me what 7380 Adam and Boy. Take it there 09229 099.
383 John.
John.
Number for Jackson, the red line.
09236 09236.
Repeat that.
236 09236.
389 Adam.
89 Adam.
May we please have a trip mission on the platform, Western Avenue, Louisville?
Sure, take event number 094, correction 092 47 092 47.
3325. 325, can you hold myself and 3333 at Wintrust for the Skygate?
I put you on 37. Hey, what's going on? Hold on. 3700 event 08048 08048.
Thank you and have a good evening.
Alright.
Sir
Mac and Kenneth, let's go.
Criminal trespass in progress. 3350 on Western at Mariano. Security said that there's older male black that was barred from the Marianos and trespassing out front in the parking lot. He's now there harassing.
There's a homicide on Sir Mac. That's where we're going to be heading.
Wearing a gray sweater, blue backpack, has gray hair, no weapons, drugs, or drinking, no further. Zone 2 clear.
7383 Henry. Can I get an event number? Red line Roosevelt.
09278 09278.
383 Adam Boy.
Sir Mac and Kenneth, homicide. That's where we're heading.
Numbers for 96 Red line, please.
K-Town.
Take event 09291 09291.
It's good. Let's move on.
383 Mary. Target position red lane.
Take event number 09298 09298.
7335. Can you show me at the soccer game? 758.
4758.
Yeah, I just have a hand waiver here at the Jefferson Park Blue Line. He's requested an ambulance for alcoholism.
Man shot by a group of people. Homicide.
The north side where the buses are.
Sir Mac and Kenneth.
Okay. Ambulance requested.
Thanks. Maybe you give me a CTA check while I'm here?
Yeah. It's 09318 09318.
7383 Charlie. Make an event for a found property at 79th Red Line and give us the RD for 5093.
Alright, take John K 309 849 309 849. Your event number is 09361
7341.
7341.
I have an event number here for Lake, the red line.
Take event 09369.
Homicide. Homicide. That's where we're going.
Mr. McGinley.
09373, 09373.
383 David.
733 David.
Plus CTO headliner 69, please.
09377, 09377. 383 David again.
Can I get him for Chicago reading?
09386.
8380.
9383 again.
That's the number, 55th, the red line.
Second band number 09397. 09397.
Temperature's dropping, that's for sure. This is a Wolf Point. This is what I talked about here. Wolf Point, right here. That's Wolf Point. Three parts of the river. One from the lake and one north, one south.
Ambulance 47.
Wolf Point.
Okay. Please helicopter City 101. Please helicopter City 101.
Helicopter base, City 101.
Check to see if you were up for that George Boyd 70547 for that shooting up north 16 yesterday.
Negative, we're doing a cruise swap right now, and we'll let you know when we lift. You got a vehicle in sight, or?
Let me see. I'm going to say no. Quite simply, the person requesting them is not even on any event.
Alright, whenever we get up, we'll advise like we usually do. Thanks.
Yeah, you don't need a second number, right? You know I just can't hear.
Okay, thank you.
Sir Mac and Kenneth, 35-year-old man was found with multiple gunshot wounds. Happened, oh, that already happened 4 hours ago. Alright, that'll be cleaned up by now. That happened 4 hours ago. I gotta write that down. That happened 4 hours ago instead of happening around 1 o'clock. Edit post. Happened about 4 hours ago. Yeah, crime goes on, Marietta. It don't stop. Crime will always be around. Crime is something to be managed. You can never stop crime. You manage it. Don't do no, what do you call it, the car spinning things. You give them a place to do it, right? Drugs, you give them drug houses. They want to do drugs, you do it in a drug house, not on the street. You do drugs on the sidewalk, you go to jail and immediate rehab, permanent rehab. That's what you do. That's how you do it. See, and then what I was talking about earlier, before I got into the Wolf Point conversation. There is no preventative work being done by the mayor. Look, it's empty. It's Friday afternoon, it's empty. See that there? Look at that. There you go. It's empty. See that there? There. There you go. You want to see how empty the city of Chicago it is? There you go. It's 5:27 p.m. It's Friday, June 26th. See that there? See that there? There's no one there. There's barely any cars there. There's no one walking to the trains. You got a block in front of me that's abandoned. You got a block behind me that's abandoned. You got a block there that's no cars. And you got a block there that's no cars. When I used to work here 8 years ago, this would be all packed. At this time, it'd be packed. All the lanes would be packed. There'd be people leaving, there'd be people coming, there'd be tourists, there'd be workers. It would be all kinds of stuff happening. People coming in the downtown to party. You see that there? Look, there ain't nobody here. Look, it's empty. It's empty. It's empty in front of us. It's empty in back of us. There's a few cars in back of us. See that there? There ain't nothing going on here. Look, you want to see? This is the third largest city in the United States of America. There's nobody here. It's like going to a dry town on a Sunday. That's what it looks like, right? There you go. There's a few people walking around. There ain't nobody. Like, that's the time. There ain't nobody here. There ain't nobody. Look, there's a block in front of me. Want to see? Look at the cars in back. You can see spaces. You see spaces over there. You see spaces over there. You don't see no cabs picking people up. This should be packed with people going to the trains that way. You don't see it, do you? Oh, people are going to say, oh, I missed it. That happened at 5:15, right? Oh, yeah, 5:15 I got to be here. That's when everybody walks, at 5:15. This place used to be busy all the time. Morning, noon, night. Look, hey, there you go. You got some migrant there using their children to make money. See that there? Right there. See that there? That's what you got. There you go. Just don't see any cars there, do you? Don't see any cars there, do you? Don't see any cars there, do you? There you go. That's about it. I don't think you need to see any more, do you? I didn't think so. You gotta see it, right? Yeah, you manage the crime. You figure out how to manage it. You lock people. And look, locking people up is part of managing crime. You don't lock everybody up. You can't lock everybody up. That costs too much. But when you lock up enough people, or the people that know, or the bad crimes, then what people say, oh man, if I do that, I'm going to go to jail because that guy went to jail. That's what managing crime is, right? That's why you use different tools. You do rehab, you do work programs, military, vocational programs, prisons, you know, you even do death penalties. Why not? Death penalty is a thing. And when you don't have the death penalty, who cares, right? Looks empty to me. What do you think? It's about 5:25 p.m., June 26, 2026. We're going down Wacker Drive. As you see, there's nobody here. Downtown Chicago.
A3K squad. Can we get an event number of 5-4 Clark and Lake, please?
095 81 09581.
Yeah, to come. There you go. See that? People, Chicago was a destination. Look in front of me. Look. You see a car there? That's the highway there. That's how you get on the highway. That's how you get home. Right there. Through that road right there. If you want to go to the western suburbs, that's where you go. It's not, there ain't nobody there. Come on.
09590 09590.
I don't know what they're delaying, why they're being dishonest to the citizens, right? Should just tell you the truth and that's it. It don't matter. If something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. If it's not gonna happen, then it doesn't happen. I'm talking about the economy, right? The old post office here. I went to that post office when it was open. There's the road, junky road, right? Oh, 32. I missed the news. Oh man, I'm a knucklehead. Always I'm a knucklehead. I missed it again. The local. Sorry.
The former National Security Advisor was asked if he had acknowledged and admitted to committing this crime. He said so and said, quote, "I'm sorry for it." Also, when asked how he was going to plead in connection with the single count, he simply said, "Guilty."
That is ABC's Pierre Thomas, who is in the courtroom. He faces up to 5 years in prison and has agreed to pay a fine of more than $2 million. And former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and his family have become the victims of a false complaint to Child Protective Services in their home state of Michigan. Buttigieg says he was told to send his 4-year-old children away from their home until officials could complete their investigation into what was a hoax.
The former Transportation Secretary says the order from officials not to be alone with his 4-year-old twin sparked some of the darkest hours of his life. Michigan State Police say they received an anonymous report targeting Pete Buttigieg, which officials ultimately determined was false. In a blog post, Buttigieg says he was told the anonymous caller contacted Child Protective Services, saying he'd spoken to a woman in Alabama who said Buttigieg once told her he had committed unspeakable crimes and that his children might be at risk. Buttigieg vows to press civil or criminal charges if he can. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
5:34 here at home. Chicago police need some help identifying a suspect accused of shoving an elderly rider down the stairs at a CTA Red Line station.
The attack happened Wednesday afternoon at the 800 block of North State Street, where police say a teenager approached a 69-year-old man from behind on a staircase inside the station, pushed him down, and ran off. Now, that victim sustained minor injuries. The suspect was last seen wearing a camo mask, a black hooded sweatshirt, and backpack, and gray gym shoes. Detectives are asking anyone with information to contact Chicago police immediately. Lynn Marshall, News Radio 1059, WBDM.
Well, a Chicago police officer is accused of posting revenge porn on social media.
A published report says Chicago police officer Diana Valentine confronted the father of her child while he was out on a date with another woman in the Loop in 2022 and told them she was pregnant and struck their car with a roller skate. The Sun-Times says an internal investigation revealed Valentine then posted sexually explicit images of the couple to Instagram. A police supervisor agreed to suspend Valentine for 5 days. The statute of limitations for bringing revenge porn charges had lapsed. She's still on the job. Terry Keschner, News Radio 1059 WBBM.
Well, the back and forth continues between Illinois and Indiana over where the Bears will decide to build a new stadium.
Governor Mike Braun says there's what he called a handshake agreement with the Bears, while acknowledging during an interview with CBS 4 Indianapolis it won't be done until, quote, we ink it. Governor Pritzker and Governor Braun have differences of opinion.
I don't think Indiana is a whole heck of a lot closer than we are. I'd say he's wrong there. I'd ask Governor Pritzker why for 5.5 years they couldn't get anything done.
Pritzker noted the Bears are looking at combining elements of the two bills passed separately by the House and Senate, and he's still open to a special legislative session, but the team has work to do winning over lawmakers. A special session would not be called without an agreement.
I don't know, Holly. I know everything you got to pay for. I remember. It's exactly what you're saying. I love the museums. I love the art museum, the science and history, the history museum, right? Art, the Shed Aquarium, the planetarium. I remember when we were young, we used to do that. We used to do summer programs. We did all of that stuff. Man, there ain't none of that going on that day. Yeah, the last time the mayor said something, he has 1,000 people signed up. 1,000 out of 300,000 students. That's pretty. 1,000 kids ain't even one school. Some schools have a lot more than 1,000. So he doesn't have one. He has one school signed up out of what? 75. Kind of funny, right? Or three? No. How many schools do we have? I don't know. 300, 400. I don't know. He's not doing too good. I'll tell you that.
Invite you inside a full-scale.
Imagine a teacher that can't get students to participate in something. That's him.
Discover more than 130 original collection pieces, including never-before-seen artifacts.
I should. Thanks for.
Life in a deeply personal way through immersive.
Yeah, we're gonna. Thanks, Holly, for reminding me. Because I remember seeing him on TV or something. He says, "Oh yeah, there's 1,000 students signed up." We're gonna. I think that's for the YMCA, maybe. I think that was only for the one. I'm gonna see what they have going on. I'm gonna do some poetry. Look at this road, man. It's horrible. Look at that road. You see the bumps? Look at this, man. It's horrible. Look at that. Look at it. Look at the road. What is this? Right? Oh, it's completely distorted. You see that? It's all bumpy and holes. And what is that? Now remember, they rebuilt this road about 5-10 years ago. Look at that. Look at the holes. The holes in the road there, man. Wild, ain't it? We might just run to 6 today. Something comes up, we might go out. Maybe we'll do some blogging. I was thinking of going the old-fashioned way. I don't know if anybody remembers this. Way back when, before I really did the long live videos. I used to do short videos, short lives, short clips. Then I'd go home and do spot, like SubX.News does, or did. I do scanner traffic. And I would sit there and I'd do all the scanner traffic. And I remember now, I think the first crime I actually did, I think one was a migrant crime when I was downtown. And then another one was a car crash off of I-55 off of Damon. It fell down, like 4 stories down. And I was at home posting it, and Ace Chicago, he's a scanner guy, send me a message, dude, man, a car just crashed off of I-55. Don't you live down there by 35th Street in Damon? I said, yeah. Man, it's out there. And that was my first live video, I think, of a crime scene. And then I think I got into it. So I might go back to those days. We'll see. I might try it out. Like 1 day or 2 days a week. I might take a break from this. I'll still do like an hour. Maybe I cut it down to an hour. I drive around a little bit, see what's going on. If the traffic comes up, the scanner traffic comes up, then I go do a hit of crime. Then maybe go home, listen to some scanner traffic.
6237, South Spalding, first floor. Jasmine saying 2 females are at her back door. Threatening her. One female has a knife wearing a blue top. Offender lives on the 2nd floor. No further. This is zone 6, number 8.
So I used to do some video clips, lives. Then I'd go home, listen to scanner traffic, post that. And then sometimes I would go out, sometimes I wouldn't. Then I started doing longer format. I went out all night, all day, whatever it was. So I don't know. I'm thinking about changing it up some.
Of a person with a knife. Thomas and Lawler, and Thomas with details to follow. House is a male black wearing all black walking up Lawler. Going toward Augusta has 39. That's how we have to find her.
There's the old Bloomer Chocolate Factory, the one that's closed down. They used to have all the homeless guys behind. We'll go drive around here, see what's going on. Again, like I said, I want to change up what I do. I believe in change. I believe in doing things differently. Get a different perspective, you know. And people who watch deserve that. You deserve new stuff, new ideas, new formats. Change it up a little bit. We'll still be doing what we do. Maybe we'll get more election focused. We used to do interviews with people. I've done those in the past. Even before I did a lot of this social media. I did interviews of candidates, write-ups. I used to go to public meetings and all of that stuff. I've done all that kind of stuff. I used to videotape things all the time. I used to videotape, go home, upload, and post. I got tons of stuff like that, 20 years old. We'll see. The election's coming up. I think we deserve to know who we're going to vote for, right? I think that's an important part, right? There you go, man. Wolf Point. Wolf Point's right over here behind us, right? Wolf Point's right there. That's Wolf Point right there. Valley's Casino is right there. Valley's Casino is there. Salvation Army is there, right? That used to be the chocolate factory. Remember that? We've been out here a long time. Remember that? All right, this is some radio traffic, right?
08945.
089 Citywide, we have a person with a knife. Urban Park and Linden and Urban Park. Caller said a group of males are running through the park threatening him. The male a male white wearing gray hoodie, black pants. He had a knife, trying to stab a boyfriend. They're currently in the Park District 16, Zone 1 clear.
08951, 08951.
331.
31.
Can you roll me down at the Sox game, and can I get an event, please?
Sure, it's 08043, 08043.
3696. Good afternoon. Can we get two numbers, one for Navy Pier and one for the Jardine?
Sure, Navy Pier is 089.
758.
089.
758.
And
If guys said one is zone 1, I think they have that car on the 40 block of Lawrence going eastbound. 397 David. PH1 Citywide, go ahead.
950.
Blue line, that car, hook up, I didn't hear anything.
Alright, one for that shooting. 1762 Adam has him 4000 west on Lawrence.
4000 west on Lawrence. What zone are they on?
83
Zone 1.
Chicago Red. 09010.
7326.
A relation driving Jackson. Got a white Tesla. Driving reckless northbound, swerving out of traffic from Jackson.
7326, I got one at 08043, 08043. Next unit that was trying to come in.
383 Mary.
Mary. Alright, it's gonna be 09020, 09020.
7389 Adam.
89 Adam.
Please have an event number, Blue Line, Jesse Hope.
Sure, it's going to be 09028, 09028.
10-4. 7353.
7353.
Number for Howard and Red, please.
09029, 09029.
83 David.
83 David.
For CTA Red Line 69, please.
09004, 09004. 7383 George. 83 George. What's the permit number? 09070, 09070.
Units at 12 and Citywide, we're getting an assault in progress. 1911 West Ohio Street, 1911 West Ohio Street in the alley. Theo's calling. He's trying to move out. There's a male riding a bicycle in the alley, threatening him with bodily harm. Nothing further. Zone 3, District 12.
I think we heard that one, didn't we? I think we heard that one.
3 ready.
80 ready, guys. 7383.
383 Mary. 7335. Can you show me at the Sox game? 758.
4758.
Yeah, I just had a hand waiver here at the Jefferson Park Blue Line. He's requested an ambulance for alcoholism. We're on the bus side terminal, the north side where the buses are.
Okay. Ambulance requested.
Great. Maybe you give me a CTA check while I'm here?
Yeah. It's 09318, 09318.
7383 Charlie. Make an event for found property at 79th Red Line and give us a RD for 5093.
Alright, take John King 309 849 309 849. Your event number is 09361 09361.
7341.
7341.
I have an event number here for Lake, the Red Line.
Take event 09369 09369.
8383 George. George, my camera.
09373
David.
Coming in. 733 David.
Red Line 69, please.
There you go.
Another number.
09377 09814. 383 David again.
Can I get a number for Chicago Red?
09386. David.
8383 Red Line 69.
2383 again.
That's the number, 55th, the Red Line.
Take event number 09816 09816. 09397.
Sorry.
Yeah. 58 go.
You can clear me. Ambulance 47 here.
Okay. Please helicopter City 101. Please helicopter City 101.
That's right. Yeah, Fulton Market. See that there? This is Fulton Market.
Check to see if you were up for that George 4705 47 for that shooting up the store 16 yesterday.
Negative, we're doing a cruise stop right now. We'll let you know when we list. You got a vehicle in sight or?
09827.
Where you going now? Where you going now, brother? Where you going? Where you going now, brother? You ain't going nowhere.
Requesting them is not even on any event.
Alright, whenever we get up, we'll advise like we usually do. Thanks.
See, that's one of your asshole buddies up there doing a three-point turn and you're fucking beeping your horn behind me. That's your asshole buddy up there. Right there. Fuck you, man. That's your buddy right there. Fucker. Beeping his horn at me.
Check Blue Line Clark and Lake, please.
09839 09839.
There, that's your buddy right there. Shit. Fucking beeping their horns, man. They're loco, man. See you, my brother. That's how they are. Impatient, ignorant. There we go. We got something going on here, man. Ambulance, whatever this is. I don't know. Maybe they choked on a chicken bone or something here. Hopefully everybody is good. Oh, where we got? Overdose, chicken bone. What do you think it is here? It's something, right? Something going on there. We're gonna hang around here and figure out what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. Whatever. Let's keep moving. These people aggravate me out here, right? They beat their horns and they don't know what they're doing, right? Alright, let's continue on. Oh man, we're done with the radio calls. We're all up to date. Oh. Wrong. We can't have no music. No music. We can't have no music there. Let's see where we at.
CTA Red Line.
Take event number 09816 09816.
383 Lincoln. What's Chicago Red?
09827.
783 83 King. PTA check, Blue Line, Clark and Lake, please.
That's a kid begging, right? And she's got a Los Angeles shirt on. Why would you have a Los Angeles shirt begging in Chicago, right? Strange, isn't it? Because they're trafficked. These are trafficked people. And this is the problem with this. And I keep saying this. And here. Brandon Johnson is a criminal who engages in criminal behavior. I just showed you a young child that's begging and she has a Los Angeles shirt on her back, right? That don't make no sense. If you're begging in Chicago, at least you wear a Chicago shirt. Whatever you do. She's very clean. She's not dirty. She's not homeless, right? She had a brand new clothes on. All the clothes she had on was brand new. Strange, isn't it? Why are you begging here in the middle? Because you're a trafficked person. And the city knows this. And I know, you know how I know this? Because I worked with a guy that was embedded with the migrants at one time. Actually, two guys. One guy was from the outside and one guy was from the inside. And he told me they openly child traffic children and they use these children to make money. I'm not going to talk about what they do because I don't want to get banned by Facebook, right? This is the truth. The guy was next to me in my car for almost a couple of hours. We talked about this for a long time. I have a video of it. I don't know if I have the whole video. I have some of the video, right? I might have turned it off when he was talking about other stuff. But he told me they traffic the children from these countries and all over the world. It's not just Venezuela and Mexico. It's from the Middle East and from Africa and from Asia. They traffic children. When they had the open border under Biden, they were bringing kids in and they were selling kids to people, right? And they used them like this. The cartels would use the kids to make money, whatever way they did. I'm not going to talk about it, right? You can just imagine. Just imagine that, right? So now you have these kids all over our city doing whatever they're doing and no one's taking care of it. And that's why I say Brandon Johnson's in charge of that. And he's facilitating that. Why? Because there's laws against children begging on the streets. You're not supposed to do that. But he's not enforcing the laws, right? Like the tent law about Wolf Point. He's not enforcing the laws, right? He's allowing things to happen that harm not only us as regular citizens, but actually harm the victims. Like we were talking about Eileen Burke yesterday, right? She harms victims. She says, I'm not going to let ICE deport abusers. I'm going to stop that. So who's she on? What side is Eileen Burke on? She's on the side of the what? Criminals. Same thing with Brandon Johnson. The only thing is we got to figure out why they do these things, right? Some people do it because of ideology. Maybe Brandon's doing it. Maybe he's making some money off of it. I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't been around that guy for many years now. I don't know what his thinking is. I never was that close to him. I wasn't his buddy, so I don't know how he thinks. I know some of the things he does, but I don't know how he thinks. I never was that close to Brandon, right? So, but he's a dangerous person. That's all I gotta say.
On a ride from California, from Western California. A blue line, car number 3332.
Is 09894 or 09824?
Maybe we'll go down to Ogden. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. This is Ogden, by the way. So we already had one homicide today. It's down here where it happened. We'll pass by there. It'll be cleaned up by now. It might not. We'll see. There's the Billy Goat over here. Everybody knows that, right? Billy Goat. It's not the original one. It's another one here, right?
Frequency mode.
6 o'clock news is coming up. So we'll listen to that, see what's going on, right? Well, it's cold, so maybe crime will be down tonight. We'll see.
Really hot weather next week could reach upper 90s by mid-week. Right now, we've got a cool 62 degrees.
Featuring the news that matters and breaking news at any time. This is Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 105.9.
That's the pink line. Everybody knows that, right?
News Radio WBBM.
Authorities say they're ready for Chicago to show off its pride during and after Sunday's parade.
I think we're in a very, very good place.
I'm political editor Jeff Buckles in Lakeview.
The Chicago Mail is charged in connection with a foiled attack at an embassy of the White House. And U.S. CENTCOM carries out retaliatory strikes on Iran for an attack on a ship.
I'm Erica Herskowitz at Bloomberg. A losing session on Wall Street today. The Dow fell 45 points. The Nasdaq slipped 61.
62 degrees now. Have a great weekend. It is 6 o'clock.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. The U.S. retaliating following an Iranian drone attack targeting a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump calling it, quote, a foolish violation of our ceasefire agreement.
What U.S. Central Command is saying is that this was a response to yesterday's attack on a commercial ship that was transiting the Strait of Hormuz. We know that the Strait of Hormuz has been really the focal point of this war over the past several months.
ABC's Christian Cordero in Washington. Search and rescue operations around the clock in Venezuela after a pair of powerful earthquakes. The death toll now at least 920, 33 people injured, and more than 50,000 people unaccounted for. Several U.S. organizations are providing relief. Yuli Gobea was making donations in South Florida.
It makes me happy at least to see us that even if we have differences and stuff, we can all come together in time of need. And we're just here trying to help a little bit and do what we can.
A federal judge declaring a mistrial in the Palisades fire case. The jury deadlocked, unable to reach a verdict after 2 days of deliberations. Jonathan Rendernick is charged with arson and malicious destruction. Prosecutors say they'll retry the case. Former hedge fund chief Leon Black voluntarily appeared before the House Oversight Committee today to speak about his relationship to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Black refused to answer a number of questions, finally walked out. Now he's been subpoenaed. California Congressman Robert Garcia.
He made the decision to not answer questions. We kept pressing. The decision to not continue was his. The majority did the right thing in issuing those subpoenas.
Utah's governor declaring a state of emergency. Dozens of wildfires burning across the west. Extreme heat slowing firefighting efforts. ABC meteorologist Ken Jawicki.
We have a very rare level 3 of 3 extremely critical fire weather risk. It includes Cedar City, Richfield, St. George, as well. Page, Arizona, also almost to Las Vegas.
You're listening to ABC News.
Now this message from Kalshi.
The 2026 primaries are taking shape, and you can trade the biggest political races on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you trade major primaries, election outcomes, and the biggest political storylines as they happen. Will the governor of California win the 2028 Democratic presidential nominee race? Right now, California governor is currently trading at 24%, meaning a $100 trade would pay out $395 if they win their election. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, you can download the Kalshi app. Use the code CHOICE to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi, Kalshi. Trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Suitable for all investors. Prices, values, available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 105.9 and WBBMNewsRadio.com.
3 on Friday, June
2026. Good evening, I'm Marshall, and currently we are sitting around 65 degrees here in Chicago. Cloudy skies. We're going to have an early shower response, then it's going to be turning out partly cloudy with a low 60 degrees tonight. Tomorrow, periods of clouds and sun. Expect a high of 77, but a lower 70s at the lakefront. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy with a low of 63 degrees. Now, we're going to look at that AccuWeather 5-day forecast. That's coming at 6:15, but right now, our top local story on News Radio, WBBM. Chicago police and city leaders say they're ready for a hot and busy weekend as hundreds of thousands of people are expected to attend Sunday's Pride Parade in the Lakeview neighborhood. The details from WBBM political editor Jeff Buckles.
I think we're in a very, very good place.
Angel Navales is the Chicago Police Department's chief of constitutional policing. He told reporters at the center on Halstead that parade organizers, local leaders, and commanders have worked for months on a plan designed to keep the parade and those evening hours after the parade safe.
We have the necessary resources in place and be nimble enough to respond to anything that occurs.
The area has seen a decrease in post-parade violence since the route shrunk in 2024.
Because they are taking action right away. They're not letting things go.
And cooling buses will be on hand to help people deal with the extreme heat expected when the parade steps off from Broadway and Sheridan at 11 a.m. on Sunday. We're at the center on Halstead. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9. WBBM.
A Chicago man has been arrested in connection with a foiled attack at a UFC event at the White House. 20-year-old Alexander Niguez Mercado is charged with obstruction of justice after allegedly serving as an administrator of signal chats used by members planning a violent attack at the UFC event at the White House on June 14th. Prosecutors say when an FBI agent called to question Mercado the day before the event, he denied any plans to travel to Washington, then uninstalled the Signal app, wiping the related messages. 7 others have been charged in a foil plot from multiple states. Mercado faces up to 20 years in federal prison. And more fallout from possible grand jury misconduct could imperil a rare conviction in the federal government's Operation Midway Blitz.
The charges against Anthony Gonzalez Alvarez were not handled by former Assistant U.S. Attorney Sherry Mecklenburg, but the Tribune reports it was the same grand jury. She's at the center of allegations of improper behavior in the case of the Broadview Six, which eventually led to those charges being dropped. 27-year-old Alvarez from Lyons pleaded guilty to concealing information about a crime, but the paper says federal prosecutors asked to postpone his sentencing, citing a potential legal issue with the charge that was filed in his superseding indictment. Stemming from Midway Blitz, the paper says 24 people have been cleared. Charges are expected against 2, and 3 other defendants are likely to see their cases end without convictions. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Workers at an oil refinery in northwest Indiana held a rally on the South Wagger Drive today, unhappy with negotiations with British Petroleum, also known as BP. WBBM's Terry Keshner was there.
Dozens of union workers rallied outside BP's corporate offices at Wacker and Monroe, saying management should stop what union members call an illegal lockout of roughly 800 members at the BP refinery in Whiting, Indiana. The lockout began in March. Miles Sullivan is secretary-treasurer with United Steelworkers.
Inflation
reported here in the U.S. at 4.2%. It's inflation caused by high gas prices, which means that BP is making even more money. Illinois Congressman Chuy Garcia.
This corporation decides to treat workers and families and communities this way. It's un-American.
BP released a statement saying in part that the latest bargaining session was held June 10th and the company will continue negotiating in good faith. Terry Keshner, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
And gas prices are higher than ever, and every penny counts. Our reporters, traffic team, and listeners are tracking the lowest gas prices across the Chicago area. So listen for the lowest gas prices around 37 minutes past every hour, only on News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
That white drug addict there.
Can you log me out or clear me from that stop so I can log in?
Route 66. I have an idea. I'll show you guys something tonight. We're going to do an experiment. We're going to go check something out. We're going to go to a wellness center and see if it's open for the weekend. What do you think?
The Tri-State heavy, nothing on the westbound side. And on the Eisenhower, it's an hour and 10 in from I-90, 51 for Manheim. Back out is 27 to get to Manheim, 45 minutes to I-90. Stevenson's costing you 56 in from 355 from the Tri-State in about 47. If you're headed out, it's only 25 to get to the Tri-State and 32 to 355. 55 northbound out of the Bolingbrook truck scales up to 355, kind of heavy, but southbound doesn't have any delays. And you're slow on the Dan Ryan in from the Stevenson locals and Pershing in the Express out to 31st Street and 71st down to the Split. It's 17 in and 20 on your way back out. I-57 in from Sibley up to Halstead and out off the Dan Ryan to Halstead and 20 either way. This is Bishop Ford in from 115th and out from 115 down to Sibley is slow. 17 in and 27 off the Dan Ryan down to 8094. Your next report, 618 from the Metro Traffic Center on News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Thanks a lot, Trent. We'll have an early shower in spots with a low of 60 degrees. Tomorrow we'll see a high of 77, but it'll even lower 70s at the lakefront. Low of 63 degrees tomorrow night. It's currently 62 degrees at O'Hare, 65 at Midway, and 61 degrees at the lakefront at 610.
Gang of members over there. Somebody got shot.
Searching for a man with a knife who jumped into the Fox River. Officers responded to Highland and State Street after receiving multiple reports that a man interfered with railroad operations. When they arrived, the suspect allegedly ran away and jumped into the Fox River. It was at that time that police saw that he had a knife. The Elgin Fire Department responded to the Fox River and attempted to get the suspect back on land. As first responders were trying to rescue him, investigators say the man went under the water. Elgin police are still working to locate him. A confirmed tornado touchdown in the Huntley area during Wednesday evening's severe weather, but there was no tornado warning issued, and therefore the tornado sirens did not sound.
The weak rotation also is more than likely below the level of the radar scan and see that rotation. It was also extremely short-lived.
Meteorologist National Weather Service says there was no indication of strong, persistent rotation on the radar, so the agency only issued a severe thunderstorm warning.
Typically, would expect individuals to take shelter inside a sturdy building, away from walls and windows, and taking those precautionary preparedness actions will protect you from these kind of brief, weak tornadoes.
As for why the sirens didn't go off in Huntley,
we are not responsible for tornado sirens. That's up to individual emergency management agencies.
Carlos says it's a good reminder why it's important to have multiple ways to receive weather alerts, including a NOAA weather radio. My Martinez, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A man from Honduras has been sentenced to 10 months in federal prison after being arrested in Chicago.
The man was accused of being in the country illegally following 7 prior deportations. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Jeffrey Estrada Pastrana was arrested in Chicago back in January after failing to appear in court for a case involving alleged theft and forgery. He had previously been convicted of robbery. Judson Richards, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Chicago firefighters were busy this morning with a high-rise apartment building fire in the city's Edgewater neighborhood on the north side.
The fire was in the 5200 block of North Sheridan Road on the 5th floor of the Wyndham Apartments, a 12-story complex. Deputy District Chief Kelly Burns says one man jumped down a couple of floors from apartment 519 to a mezzanine level where firefighters rescued him. He was injured and taken to a hospital.
Due to the intense heat and conditions they encountered, Engine 59 let out a line up this aerial ladder, which you see behind me, to knock it down from the window. What they did was what we call a transitional attack. They put a large volume of water on the fire immediately to improve conditions, would help the interior fire companies push their way down the hallway.
Chief Burns says several residents were treated at the scene for mild smoke inhalation. The chief credits firefighters with saving lives by acting as quickly as they did. Bernie Tafoya, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
And don't forget the latest news delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for WBBM's email newsletter. Get the information you need to know quickly and easily, all for free. Simply click on the sign up tab on WBBMNewsRadio.com today. Coming up after the break, we're going to look at that AccuWeather 5-day forecast. The time now is 6:13.
Edward R. Murrow believed credibility begins with truth, recognized with 2 regional Murrow Awards, including overall excellence. Our commitment to serving Chicago.
So Let's do an experiment. It's 6:13 p.m. It's Friday evening. We're in North Lawndale. Heavy gang activity, poor, right? Lower socioeconomic scale, right, of earning. Divestment, whatever you call it, right? Whatever Brandon Johnson calls it, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to this place. They got a firehouse here. They converted a firehouse to a wellness center. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping when we pull up to it, it's wide open. They have benches out there. They're listening to music. They're inviting the community to what? Have a place to relax on a Friday night so there isn't no violence. This is a little smaller place because it's a firehouse. So, you know, maybe you don't have basketball in there or sports in there, but maybe you do video games, maybe some ping pong, maybe just watch some movies, look at some TV, whatever it is. But something where people can get out of their environment, whether it's in their homes or on their block, in their neighborhood or wherever it is, or some kind of dysfunction they have in their home, and they can come here and relax, right? What we're going to do is we're going to see if that's true, right? And then we're going to go to another place, and we're going to see if that's true over there. I don't know, we're going to do 2 or 3 tonight. We're going to do an experiment, and then maybe we'll be done by about 7 o'clock, right? So remember, these are wellness centers. And I think these couple are for youth. Like the one that you seen, do you remember when I was at the shooting scene where on 95th Street last Friday? Well, that one had a bullet hole in it. So the wellness center that's supposed to be for youth actually was shot up. So it means that it wasn't in use. So the place is right up here. Again, this is the old Route 66. Shameless is videotaped here. There's all kinds. This is gentrifying here. It's gentrifying. There's a lot of community centers, a lot of things that are around here to help people, I guess. I don't know how much they do. A lot of development. See the new buildings all around here? Oh, there, I just missed it. I was supposed to turn left right there. I missed it. Well, maybe I'll go up on this little side road here. This is a nice road here. Everybody knows there used to be an elevated part. This is a flyover here. That's why it looks the way it does. This used to be this was a 2-level road here. Ogden had a flyover where the trucks were on top here. We tore it down. Archer had one. Oh, Damon, we had one that went over to 47th. Pershing had one at one time. There's a lot of those. So the trucks could keep going. And they wouldn't have to stop for regular traffic, right? So again, we're going to go to a wellness center, right? That's where we're going to. We're going to see if it's open on a Friday, right? I got to make a U-turn there. That's what we're doing there. And we've documented this. This is about 3 years we've been documenting this place. This is a wellness center. The wellness centers in Chicago are the learning centers of Minneapolis. These are scam operations. They're mostly NGOs. They get a lot of money. Some of them get special deals on land. This is an old this is an old firehouse, this one. Sometimes they don't have to pay taxes, whatever they do. There's a lot of gentrification going on here. Let me put this down here, right? So I can spin this. There's a lot of gentrification. See the new buildings, new building, right? There's a lot of new buildings. This is again North Lawndale.
Frequency mode.
You see, you figure that's a community center that would be open and be packed with people. They have a courtyard there. There's no one in the meeting rooms. There's no one in the classrooms. There's no one walking around. So that place has nobody in it. You see that there? And it's a Friday. You see that? It should be packed. There's no one in there. Now we're going to come over here. This place is specifically... Let me put my other camera on here. And this we've been doing, I think this will be our 3rd year documenting this place. Alright, and then let's put this on here like that. There we go. SubX.News. We're over here on Hamlin and Ogden. We've been documenting this place for a couple of years now, right? It's 6:18 p.m. It's a Friday, June 26th. This is, I don't know what this is. This is a peace circle, community center, something, right? I don't know what it is, technically. It's the firehouse, all right? So this is an NGO. This is an old firehouse. They fixed it up, whatever they did. They have the signs there. You see that? Remember our ancestors, peace circle, and all of these things, right? You see the sign that says peace right there, right? But what's the biggest thing you notice right now? This is North Lawndale, by the way. It's a dangerous area. They have a lot of violence here, right? And we need things like this. We need places for peace, right? But it's 6:19 p.m. and it's a Friday evening. We just had 3 people killed yesterday. There was 3 shootings, a triple, a double, and a single. 3 people killed. There was a double homicide. They were all gang related. So you see this here? This is supposed to be for peace. This is supposed to be a place where people come and hang out. What do you see here? It's closed. It's not open. Every time I've come here, every single time, I've never seen anyone here. This is like Nick Shirley. Remember when he used to go to the learning center? He's like, man, I never see any kids here. It's weird. Well, I've been here, I don't know. I'll start looking at my videos. Remember, it's Ogden and Hamlin. I've been here in the winter. I've been here in the summer. And I always come on the weekends and at night. I've never seen anybody here. You figure in a place where there's supposed to be a high violence rate, dysfunction, drug addiction, gangs, whatever you call it, because that's why they have these places, right? Peace for everything, peace circles, right? It says it right there, community peace circle. You see that there? It says it right there, community peace for everything, peace circles, right? So if there's supposed to be peace circles, that means there's violence or something, and trauma, and slavery, and colonialism, and Gazas, and whatever other traumas they use as an excuse, right? It's not open. You want me to check the door there? It's not open. You want me to check? Yeah, I'll check. I'll check. You want me to check? Closed. It's closed. The peace circle is closed. So on a Friday, when there's usually a lot more issues that happen in certain neighborhoods, gang neighborhoods, crime neighborhoods, you would figure we need a peace circle. Come hang. What did I say? This place ain't that big. It might have a basketball court. It says they do cooking here. Maybe they have a cooking family. How about you have Friday night fish fries? You don't even see that. I've never seen this place open. I've been here a lot of times. I've passed this place a lot. I've never seen this place open. Maybe I need to go through their documents and see what they really do. But I've never seen this place open. Never. See that there? They have the Juneteenth. Remember our ancestors, right? See that? It's all social justice. It's all anti-colonialism. It's all of this. But who's the colonists here? They are. I said this about the police station over in Pilsen. There's a police station on Damon. I've documented that place. Think about this, and I'll end the video. I'll end this segment with this, and I'll show you another place. This used to be a fire station. Fire stations are open 24/7. They used to have, or they do have, every fire station is manned in the city of Chicago 24/7. That means there's 3 shifts there, but they run it the 24-hour, 40-hour shifts. I don't know how they do it. But a fire station in the city of Chicago has a person there all the time. Even when they send the fire trucks out, there's a guy that stays at the firehouse. So if you ever need help, if you're dying, if you're in danger, You know, they got the thing where you can drop off the kids, no question asked. Why? Why do they have that? Because it's a fire station. It's a public service. Fire stations, police houses. Remember the police houses I complained about that they put the migrants there? Why did they put the migrants there? They're open 24/7. Well, look at this place. It used to be 24/7 as a fire station. This is a department. It's an old firehouse, right? See the sign there? Now what is it? It's closed. So it used to serve the community 24/7. You could come here and talk to the guy. The guys sit out there in their chairs, the firefighters, right? If you needed something, you got hurt, or whatever happened, you can come here and talk to them. You can't talk to nobody now. This is a private entity. Supposedly it's an NGO. Supposedly it's for peace and everything in community circles, but yet it's closed on a Friday when you would need a peace circle. When you would need a place, a young person, imagine a young person in this neighborhood that has a lot of gangs. They just killed a guy down the street on Cermak and Kenneth. It's right. Cermak and Kenneth is right down the street. After this video, I'm going to show you where the murder was. You would figure if there was a murder 3-4 blocks from here. I've been here when there was murders closer than 3-4 blocks from here. I was here when murders were 2 blocks from here. Yet the place is closed. Right after the murder, I would come here and the place was closed. This place is never open. This is Chicago's learning centers. These are NGOs that own, this one owns a public building. It used to be a public building. It used to be open 24/7 and now it's closed. And it says it's for peace. It says for its ancestor. It's anti-colonial. It's pro-social justice, yet it's closed. It's closed again. So what I'm going to have to do is look into their records, see what's their purpose, see what's their mission, see who funds them, and see what they say to do. Because so far, I haven't seen this place ever open when I'm here. Never. And then when I post the video, guess what? I get attacked and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, I don't know. I'm here and it's not open. That's what I got. It's 6:25 p.m. It is June 26th, 2026. All right. I just did the video, and then I'm going to take you to the murder scene, right? I'll show you how close that murder scene was on Kenneth, right? And then we're going to go to another wellness center. I don't know what this is. This is a Peace Circle house, right? It's a nice place. It's a beautiful idea. I get it. It's nice. But why isn't it open? Feed the Block. Free lunch every Thursday, 11 to 1. I don't know. That sounds a little strange there. Why isn't it open long? Why? See, I don't get it. Why isn't it open on Fridays? What? Oh. Oh man, I didn't even see that there. It's an old fire thing there, man. Oh. Let's get going, man. They're gonna put me on tape or something, right? Oh. Let's see what happens. I hit their hydrant there, so should I go fix it or what? Let's go fix that thing. Let's go fix it so they don't say I wrecked it. I think I hit a hydrant there or something. Let's go fix that thing. I don't want to say that I ruined something and I ran away. You guys can keep me on tape, right? Make sure that they don't say I did something wrong here, right? I guess I must have hit that, whatever, the hydrant thing there. See that there? Let's go fix that hydrant there, right? Must have hit that by accident. Let's go put that back. Yeah, you guys are my witnesses. I fixed it, right? Ain't nothing right. Alright, so I'm going to take you to Cermak and Kenneth, right? Peace Circle Wellness Center Social Justice Spot. Every time we come here, it's closed. These are the learning centers of Chicago. About 6:20 p.m., June 26, 2026. Peace Circle Wellness Center Social Justice Spot. Every time we come here, it's always closed. These are the learning centers of Chicago. Hamlin and Ogden. About 6:20 p.m., June 26, 2026. Alright, let's get over here, right? So there you go. 6:30 is coming up. Let's listen to the news, right? Now we're going to go to a homicide scene, right? And that's where we're going. To show you how close the homicide is here, right? And why ain't that place open?
Weather station, News Radio 1059 and WBBMNewsRadio.com.
The time now is 6:30. Good evening. I'm Glenn Marshall, and these are the top stories on News Radio WBBM. The U.S. military launches retaliatory strikes on Iran after President Trump said the country violated the ceasefire.
This is Mike Krauser. An allegation involving the sexual abuse of a child leads to the search of a phone, sitting in evidence for 3 years and 14 felony charges against an Antioch man.
The death toll rises to 920 following 2 large earthquakes in Venezuela. Plus, a private equity billionaire refuses to answer questions about his dealings with Jeffrey Epstein when he appears behind closed doors on Capitol Hill. At WBBM Sports, we know that the White Sox are taking on the Kansas City Royals at 6:40, and the Cubs are taking on the Milwaukee Brewers at 6:45. AccuWeather's letting us know there's going to be an early shower in spots. Otherwise, it's going to turn out partly cloudy with a low of 60 degrees tonight. Tomorrow, we'll see periods of clouds and sun with a high of 77, but in the lower 70s at the lakefront with a low of 63 degrees tomorrow night with partly cloudy skies. It's currently 62 degrees at O'Hare. We're looking at 64 at Midway and 61 at the lakefront. The time now is 6:31. U.S. military officials confirm they have launched retaliatory strikes against Iran after President Trump blasted the regime, saying it violated the ceasefire agreement with the U.S. by carrying out a drone strike on a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. ABC's Christian Cordero reports from Washington.
Well, according to Iranian state media, the strike happened just off the coast, or really on the coast, off the Strait of Hormuz, essentially around southern shores. And what U.S. Central Command is saying is that this was a response to yesterday's attack on a commercial ship that was transiting the Strait of Hormuz. We know that the Strait of Hormuz has been really the focal point of this war over the past several months.
President Trump maintains the Strait of Hormuz is open after Iranian drone strikes. Israel and Lebanon have signed a framework agreement after months of fighting between the Israeli and Lebanese militants Hezbollah.
At the State Department, there is a common theme, moving toward peace.
We believe today is the first step in that journey.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, echoed by Lebanese Ambassador Nada Hamadeh.
First step on the road to restoring Lebanese.
There's a homicide here before.
Israeli Ambassador Michael Leiter says the intent is
been here for a homicide before. Must be a dope house around here.
Out.
And the road to peace between Israel and Lebanon.
There must be a dope spot around here.
Israeli Prime
There was a
Minister
homicide here earlier today, and I was here before for a homicide.
Forces take control of territory from Israel's military.
Right here, Kenneth and Cermak, right here somewhere.
Group officials warning of
Said there was a homicide here somewhere.
Magani, Washington.
I was here before they shot someone. There they are.
Man who had his phone seized 3 years ago.
They're right out here, right?
Involving child pornography.
Then we're gonna go to another spot.
Felony charges after a new case led to a search.
I was here before. They shot somebody here before. I remember this spot. Now I know why. See that there? Look.
Forensic examination when they seized Gene Lowry's phone in 2023. The case went nowhere.
Right back there, they shot. Oh, there they are in the back there.
Recently, investigators were interviewing a juvenile family member in an unrelated case, and the sheriff's office says
that's the trap house right there. They're going to get the drugs right there. I was here. I remember that.
He was babysitting her.
That was in the winter, I think.
They got the phone out of evidence, and based on the new allegations, they were able to obtain a warrant. An examination allegedly turned up 600 files of child sex abuse material. Lowry is facing 14 felony charges, including predatory criminal sexual assault.
They killed a guy here. Right here on the other block. They killed a black guy. They shot him and chopped him up. And then they turned his house on fire. And right back here. This is a bad, something going on over here. I don't know what it is. Look it up. Chopped up African American. They chopped his arms and his legs off and burned him up. They shot him and burned him. This is a bad block. Something happens here. I've been through here a few times already.
And we will continue negotiating in good faith with the union, end quote. And gas prices are higher than ever, and every penny counts. Our reporters, traffic team, and listeners are tracking the lowest gas prices across the Chicago area. Listen for the lowest gas prices at 37 minutes past every hour, only on News Radio 105.9 WBBM at 6:35.
The search for the temporary fix.
So somebody was just killed here
in the pharmacy
this afternoon.
For the new and improved Pillar Spray that will clear up your stuffy nose. And you'll give it a try because at least it helps you breathe, right? Yeah, it does. And it may work, but it's hurting you more than it's helping. I'm Dr. Mother Candula with Advent, where we've pioneered simple solutions to nasal breathing problems without the pain and inconvenience of surgery. In-office procedures like balloon sinuplasty require zero surgical cuts, little to no downtime, and can have you breathing better in just 20 minutes. There are
so there's a scooter.
That have been performing
see the scooter there?
Procedure longer than Advent.
Always scooters are by homicide scenes. You always find them. Lately, there's always a scooter by where somebody dies.
Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
I think this is the trap house. Yeah, that's the trap house right there. That's what it looks like. There's the trap. That's the trap house. Yeah, that's the trap house right there. See that there?
You've heard of America's #1 dog supplement.
That's the trap house.
Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com.
Again, there was somebody just killed right here.
Wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health.
I talked to these guys. There's something that goes on right on that block there.
Discount code
look it up
for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Greens, you make any dog food better.
Now, the lowest gas prices from News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
And it's sponsored by the PackyWebFord.com.
Then they had a fight here. They were shooting each other here at this spot once before.
Plus, get crazy low interest rates on most new Ford models at PackyWeb Ford. And in Elmwood Park, the Marathon on Grand near 78th has gas for $3.89 per gallon, while
it's a wild little spot, huh?
On Ridge and Granger has gas for $3.64 per gallon. And at 6:38, traffic and weather together on the 8th, and it's sponsored by Metro. We got heavy traffic.
You guys want to see one more learning center? And we got a little time, right?
Still have heavy spots from the River Road tow all the way to the Janesburg interchange, and you're still at over an hour.
Frequency mode.
We're getting platform check at Clark and Lake, please.
31 out to O'Hare, you get the express lanes as well.
10395, 10395.
Slow in that Addison to Sayre. Looking like the Edens inbound is slow from Dempster now. It's heavy in spots all the way to Cicero. 22 in from Lake Cook, but much better than it had been. About the same time-wise on your way back out. And slow to Chewy off the Kennedy Junction. 190 extension now cleaned up in and out of the terminals at O'Hare is nice and clear.
You gotta let me go, my brother.
90 and 38 from Anaheim back out is 23.
Really, brother?
And 40 minutes to I-90.
Now we're gonna take you to another spot, right? So you've seen it, right? Look it up, the firehouse. I've been there. I've been documenting that place. I've never seen anyone there. Never, 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 never.
94 boy.
Again, North Lawndale, that's where we're at. That's Little Village down there. This is North Lawndale over here.
10404. 10404.
There's migrants over here.
Past Halstead is slow to 23 in and 18 on your way back out. Traveling on the Bishop Ford, it's been better. It's in from 115th where you're still heavy up to the Dan Ryan, and heavy spots go outbound from 115th down to 159 because of work going on. 17 in from 8094 back out. It'll be a 24-minute trip off the Dan Ryan to 8094. This report is sponsored by Metra. Sit back, relax, and let Metra be your ride to your next destination, whether it's a quiet escape, meeting with friends or family, or discovering new destinations. Metra's here to make sure you arrive on time and stress-free. Metra, drive less, do more. From the Metro Traffic Center, your next report is at WBBM. WBBM early shower response tonight.
47 to Red Line.
Close to 60. Tomorrow, we'll have intervals of clouds and sun.
10415. 10415.
Low 70s at the lakefront. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 63, and then maybe a stray thunderstorm to start on Sunday. Clouds will break for some sunshine and will be warmer and more humid in the afternoon. Sunday's high 85. 62 right now at O'Hare, at 64 at Midway, 63 in West Englewood, 61 at the lakefront, going down to 60 tonight.
Yes, look how it looks here.
Brian Thompson.
Summer in Chicago means storms, and I've definitely had a few moments where I thought, okay, I should have prepped for this. I'm Casey Finn from the DIY Playbook. The good news? A little work now can save you from a lot of headaches later. Start with your trees. Trim back any branches that hang over your house, garage, or near power lines. Those are usually the first things to come down in high winds. Next, clean out your gutters. If they're clogged, water has nowhere to go. And that's how you end up with water near your foundation or in your basement.
Where are we at? What is this? Costner and 16th, right? I think.
Well, for 69th in the red line.
16th, right? 16th and Costner.
10428. 10428.
Alright, we're at 16th and Costner at 6:41 p.m. June 26th, 2026. I revisit neighborhoods that I've been to before. You look, this is North Lawndale. It's completely, no, there ain't nothing here. We're just at another spot. We're at a homicide scene where I recognized I was there before for a couple other homicides. That was over on Cicero and Kenneth. And then we were at the firehouse on Hamlin and Ogden. That's supposed to be a social justice, anti-colonial peace circle place, social justice hangout. But it's closed. And then you look at this. It's completely empty. There ain't nothing here, man. We've been here for a couple of homicides, some things that happen all around here. But you see this, it's just completely empty. There's no people here. And you figure, this, if you need social services, this is the place that you should have social services, right? We have boarded up buildings. You might have some gangs. You might have some crime. You might have some prostitution. I don't know what you got here. Right? I've been here for a few things, right? There's all kinds of stuff, but look at how empty it is here, right? I got some guy right behind me. I don't know why you're right behind me and there's so much space. Imagine you have so much space and there's a guy driving right behind me. Kind of weird, isn't it? See that here? Look at how empty it is here. Pretty wild, ain't it? All the land that you see that's empty used to have houses, right? It's not that it didn't have houses, right? SubX.News. That's 16th and Trip right there, right? We're going to another place. We're just at a social justice NGO that's closed. Everybody has Juneteenth Freedom Day and social justice, anti-colonial, peace circles and all this, but you don't see no peace happening. You don't see any peace happening. You don't see nothing. You don't see anybody in their lawn chairs. You don't see no barbecue grills. You don't see, hey, come on over and let's talk. You don't see anybody playing any music. You don't see anything that shows friendliness here. You don't see any of that. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't. You see all these signs and these accolades and these, oh, we're doing this and we want to do this. Maybe they got the crime intervention. Maybe they're doing, maybe it's the same thing. I don't know. They don't see anybody here. See that there? It's completely empty. Look, boarded up businesses. You don't see any stores, any places to do anything. See that there? For sale, 200 grand. I don't know. I don't think that's worth 200 grand there. All right, so I'm going to a spot. There's police activity in front of me. I don't know which way I'm going. I don't know if I'm going the right way or not. We'll see in a second, right? See that? We're going to 15th and Pulaski. I'll make another video, all right? I'm still live feeding, right here. I'm going to show you this spot. We're going to go around the block, right? There's another one of these NGOs, right? 16th Street from Costner to Pulaski. Why isn't there no social services out here? 6:40 p.m. June 26th, 2026. There any social look at that, look how this looks out there. It's pretty bad, ain't it? I'm driving and typing. It's probably I shouldn't be doing that. What is it? 6:40 p.m. You figure this is where you guys should have social
Frequency
services.
mode 10499 10499.
83 John.
83 John.
You'll see, Riz.
And over to Jackson, the red line.
10504 10504.
Alright, so now we're gonna document another place, right?
That was off feedback.
39 Charlie.
94 Charlie.
Good check it. Start my breath.
So we just showed you one place over there on Ogden, and this is less than a mile away. It's another social justice place. It's a kid place. This one has 4 different names. They use different names and shell companies to hide their funding here. They have multiple names here. The Better Boys Foundation. I checked already. They got 4 or 5 different shell companies. It's a Friday. It's 6:49 p.m. Again, you're in North Lawndale. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of gangs, right? What do you see? You don't see nobody in there, do you? Do you see anybody inviting people in? Do you see the playground that's open? Do you see that it's open? No. Again, these are our wellness centers, right? In Chicago, they're called wellness centers, social justice, peace circles, whatever. These are ours. We pay for these. The NGOs get special privileges through tax increments, through tax benefits. Maybe they get special benefits because of the land they own, or whatever they do, whatever it may be. And then what do you get? You don't have nothing open here. Again, a Friday night, North Lawndale, lots of gangs here, lots of drugs, lots of killings, lots of dysfunction. I mean, that's what we're led to believe. We're led to believe that, right? Because Brandon Johnson says that we need to invest in our neighborhoods. So he equates dysfunction with being poor, which is false. It's a false, what do you call it? He puts them together, right? Conjoins them. Conjoins the two ideas, which they're not, right? Being poor doesn't mean you have a dysfunctional family. That has none. Most poor people that I know actually have strong families because they stick together. So it's a false narrative that he creates. So whatever, and let's not get into that, right? But the point I want to show you is here. See that? That's a rotating door there. You see that silver thing in the middle there? That's a rotating. They even put the steel around the rotating door so you can't even go in there. See that there? This place is closed right now. It's a Friday, it's 6:50 p.m. There's drugs, there's gangs, there's all kinds of stuff here, supposedly, North Lawndale. We're at 15th and Pulaski, and what do you see? Place is shuttered. Again, these are Chicago's learning centers. They're social justice, NGO, wellness places, they're whatever they're called. This place should be open right now. It should be open for any young person, any person. It should be open for the community. It should be open. You know how long it should be open? It should be open from the time that school should let out, which is summer already. So school's been out. So if school's out, that should be open 24/7. This should be open at least all weekend, from Friday afternoon until Monday morning. So people have places to go on the weekend, so they don't have to be involved in whatever else is going on in the neighborhood, right? That's what we're led to believe. In fact, that's what Brandon Johnson always says. We don't invest in our communities. Well, there's an investment. We paid for some of that. Whether it isn't directly or indirectly, but yet it's closed. The place that should be open for young people is closed. The second place here, 6:51 p.m. SubX.News on the spot reporting. These are our wellness centers. These are scam artists. They're scammers right here. That's the ones that steal our money. This place owns like a whole block of stuff here. SubX.News. 6:52 p.m. June 26, 2026. Another NGO closed on Friday afternoon when it should actually be open for the community to use so they can have a nice place to go, hang out, and be safe. Should be open all weekend long, but as you see, it's closed. These are our wellness centers. The wellness centers are the learning centers of Chicago. 6:50 p.m., June 26, 2026. You see it, it's in front of you. I just showed you 2 spots, right? This is a youth place. It says it's for youth. Building brighter futures. What? It's closed. You see it. It's in front of you. I ain't lying. Look up my videos. Oh, I should put the address here, right? Building Brighter Futures, 15th and Pulaski. Ain't building nothing, man. It's sucking our money. You see that? Right there. It's in front of you. I ain't making this up. Does everybody understand why we have violence in Chicago? We got violence, so what? They can justify this place, right? And then when Brandon Johnson needs us, he'll come here. When there's a murder in the area, he'll come here and do a press conference in there once a year. Or once every 2 or 3 years, whenever it happens. There you go. Right. There you go. It's closed. It's closed. Let's go down 15th Street, right? There you go. That's what you got. That's your corruption here in Chicago. You see it in front. That's where our money goes, right there. They got a block party here. That's nice. See that there? That's nice. They got a nice block party there. Maybe they're running that block party there. See that there? Look at that. That's nice, huh? That's good. Maybe that's why it's closed. Oh, maybe that's why it's closed. There's a block party here, right? I was just here. There was some fight over there, I think. It's a domestic issue over there. Oh, man, they're doing some gentrification here. Look at that new house here. Pretty wild, huh? Pretty crazy, hey? Gotta drive around. I come out here all the time, whenever. Sometimes winter, sometimes summer, sometimes day, sometimes night. You gotta try these places out, right? That looks like scattered site housing right there. North Lawndale.
Frequency mode.
15th and Hamlin. It's a rough area. I've been to a few homicides in this area.
83 Frank.
Ain't nobody playing in the playground. That's sad. Ain't no stores, ain't no corner stores, ain't no taverns, ain't no nothing.
10608. 10608.
Central Park. Imagine you've been mayor for 3 years. The guy's been mayor for 3 years. So he takes $100 million and he's giving out checks now. How long you think those checks are gonna last? How long you think those checks are gonna last? Think they're gonna last? Give a guy 1,000, give a guy there, somewhere here. I don't know. Look at this. It's desolate over here. You want to see? I'm gonna go look. It's wiped out, man. It's wiped out. $100 million worth of checks he's giving out. See that there? You want to see? I probably shouldn't be going down here, man. I don't know what's back here, right?
7389 Adam.
There's migrants over here. It's all mixed over here. See that? Migrants are back here, right?
Please over to that number, Western Boulevard.
Those aren't Mexicans. Those are migrants right there. Got that?
106 224-1068.
They're migrants. Those are migrants. Those ain't Mexicans. Look at that. Look at all the empty lots here. Huh? Now you get it why the migrants are here? They're here to repopulate. Got it? Go look. Google gentrification of the whole city. The entire city. You want to see some more? You want to see some more here? Look. Look at this. See that there? Look. Look at this. Look at this here. Completely desolate. How many of these do you see that are empty here? See that there? Look. How many? How much land is empty here? Did you even know that there was this much land empty here? See that there? Know that I just showed you over there, right? Look, there's land empty everywhere here. I bet you they're selling lots expensive here, right?
85 David.
CRM number 2 for the red line is 79.
10638.
See how much land is empty here? Look, right here on that side, look at all that land, right? That's been stopped for some reason. And watch us, I don't get a flat tire here, right? There's a divvy bike back there. Probably somebody living. It's probably, there might be somebody living in there. See that there? There might be somebody living in there.
94 Charlie.
Can I get a number at Roosevelt Red, please?
10649. 10649.
There's a cop over there. See the cop?
7385 John.
Yeah. See the holes there and all that?
85 John.
What about, you want to see how much land is empty here? Look. Look at this. Look at all the land empty.
10655. 10655.
That's a busted in church. That's an abandoned church. You want to see that there? See the windows? It's all busted up. It's an abandoned church.
83 David.
It's abandoned.
Line, can I get event number 4?
The window's busted through and you can see all the way through.
10660.
You can see all the way through. That's why you gotta come here in all different times and see what's going on.
383 Charlie.
83 Charlie.
Phone number 479 red line.
10665. 10665.
Cop just passed by here, right? Look at that. SubX.News. That's just in the news, right?
385 George.
85 George.
Only successfully prosecuted case of resistance campaign against his political enemies. You're listening to ABC News.
10671.
15 ain't single. There's a lady that was killed right down here. Right here. Look at that abandoned building there. See that? There's an abandoned building right there. You want to see that there? Right. There's a whole building abandoned there. You want me to show you? We got buildings going up here, huh? Pretty wild, huh? North Lawndale.
Dealing with the joint pain? Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Holman. There you go. You got people walking around already. See in front of us. You might end up seeing some zombies around here.
85 Charlie.
Event number for turnstile 87th in the red line.
Oh, you got a little bit of activity over here.
10684. 10684.
7:03 on Friday, June
There's an abandoned building or something.
85 Henry. 85 Henry.
Number 47 red line.
It's like an abandoned building there, huh?
It's going to turn out to be partly cloudy with a low of 60 degrees.
10688. 10688.
That's an abandoned building there.
The lower 70s at the lakefront. With
all kinds of stuff going on here. See that?
Partly cloudy skies. Of course, we're going to look at
that zombies walking around here, huh?
At 7:15, but right now, our
see the zombies
on News Radio WBBM. A Chicago police officer has been suspended in a case of revenge porn. WBBM.
Revenge porn, man. Look at that, man. Oh, there's the cops are over there. Let's go. There's cops to the north of us. Let's go check that out. That's pretty wild, huh? This is all wild area over here, man. Look at that. You see all the empty land? Pretty crazy, ain't it? Let me show you here. There you go. You got abandoned buildings there. See those abandoned buildings there? Those are abandoned. See that there?
News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A 20-year-old Chicago man is due in court in connection with an alleged plot to attack the UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House earlier this month. Prosecutors accuse
the police activity to north
of running the signal chat used to plan the alleged attack on June 14th. And according to the indictment, an FBI agent spoke with Mercado on the phone the day before the event and asked Mercado about the planned attack. And Mercado allegedly denied those plans. He faces obstruction of justice, which has a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. And the governor of Illinois and Indiana...
excuse me, I apologize for that. That was rude of me. Sorry about that.
Governor J.B. Pritzker says he doesn't think Indiana is a whole heck of a lot closer than Illinois, and Governor Mike Braun says he's wrong. Braun says he would ask Pritzker why for 5.5 years Illinois could not get anything done. He said there's a handshake agreement with the team, but acknowledged it's not done yet. Both governors talk taxes.
What the Indiana legislature chose to do is to foist it all off on the counties and the cities. Guess what? They don't have a tax that's passed.
The taxes will be on food, beverages, and hotels, in addition to events at a stadium, among other sources.
There's another abandoned building. It's all abandoned buildings here. See that there? Look.
10708. 10708.
Something going on here?
In a multiplying way that hardly anything
pretty wild there, huh?
Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Where are we at?
We have now learned that one of the 14 people rescued after two boats crashed on Lake Michigan last night has died.
The medical examiner says the person killed is a 26-year-old woman from the near west side.
All right, we got something going on here, huh? SubX.News. We're at, what street we're on? It looks like there's something bad happening here, huh?
Treatment. The Illinois Department of Natural Resources is handling the investigation. Nancy Harding, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
And Chicago police and community leaders say they believe they're ready to keep people in and around Lakeview safe during and after Sunday's Pride Parade.
Guess they got somebody under custody here, right?
To line Foster Street for the city's 55th parade.
89, boy.
89, boy.
Shows riding the line from UIT to Clinton on vehicle 3376.
10718. 10718.
Police say they've worked for months on the plans.
There you go. You got an arrest here, right?
That could spark acts of violence for vandalism. Bully buses and
SubX.News, man. There you go, man. There's somebody being under arrest here, right? There you go, man.
Don't forget the latest news delivered.
SubX.News. We're at, I don't know where we're at. What number is this? I have no clue where I'm at. There's no numbers on these houses here.
Click on the sign up tab on www.
You can hear what they're doing.
Today. And
You're just searching people, right? That's it.
Whether together on the here's Trent Erickson.
Things are improving out there quickly in some spots. At the Edens, it's all clear on the in and outbound side now. Just looking at 15 minutes between Lathrop and the Kennedy Junction. Kennedy's at about 39-minute pace in from O'Hare. 26 from the Edens Junction, so from Camp Campbell Lawrence and Belmont into the Jacob Heritage. And the outbound side still smooth to North Avenue and then over 6 there. It's 13 to get to Montrose, 25 minutes if you're right out to the airport. And the outbound side has expressed
Spalding and don't know where we're at. 15th and Spalding here, maybe. Police activity, right? We're at 13th and Spalding here. This police activity, it's about 7:08 p.m. They're all cutting out. There we go, man. So there you go. They pulled over some guys and now they're getting out of here, right? Yeah. Cutting out. SubX.News. There you go. There you go. So they had somebody, they were searching the car, whatever they were doing here. Now they're cutting out. There's a whole heavy, I don't know what they were doing here, man. They were doing something. I don't know what they're doing. All right, let's get out of here. The cops are going. So that's the car they were searching. A whole bunch of cops were here. I don't know what they were doing over here, right? Alright, let me get out of here, right? And then there's a whole building there. I don't know what they're doing. Alright, let's get out of here, man. Let's go here, man. Right, let me get out of here, right? Let me get out of here, right? Let's go. Let's go, man. I remember I was here, there was somebody shot in that building, the second building there. This is Spalding, right? Yeah, there was somebody shot in this building right here, right? 2 people were shot on the stairs here. This is a dangerous neighborhood here, man. Right there. And that, yeah, I remember this. It's pretty wild out here, man. SubX.News bringing it to you from North Lawndale today. Yeah, we do social justice. We do. Whatever. I need to get out of here, man. This is a little dangerous neighborhood out here, man. They tell the cops, get out. Alrighty. It's past 7 o'clock. I think that's about time for our broadcast to end. SubX.News, we're in North Lawndale. There was a guy shot here. Tiffany Henyard's dad was shot here. You want me to show you where that happened? That happened right down the street here. Let me show you. 15th and right here, man. Right here. Didn't they catch the guy right here? That was Tiffany Henyard's dad was shot right back here, man. I'll show you back here, man. I hope I don't get shot, man. Right here. Tiffany Henyard's dad was shot right back here, man. I'll show you. There, man. Right back here. Right back here. Tiffany Henyard's dad, the mayor, the ex-mayor of whatever it is, Harvey or Dalton or whatever she was the mayor of, he was shot right back here. Right here, man. He was shot right back here. There you go. And we covered that. We were here on scene. It's an abandoned CHA home right there. See that there? Alrighty. See you there, Citizen app. Alright, we're gonna do one more video and then we'll cut a quits, alright, Facebook? Yeah, because it's getting a little dark and it might be getting a little shady out here, man. We don't want to get into, and we don't want to get into nothing that we don't want to get into. Or you kind of get what I'm saying? Sometimes, that's why I talked about violence in the earlier segment. Violence is violence. Oh, there you go, man. There's abandoned CHA buildings, right?
George.
North Lawndale. Alright, let's do a little video here, right?
10788. 10788.
I want to show you guys something down here. All right, let me show you guys this. It's 7:13 p.m. It's June 26, 2026. We're in North Lawndale. I'm gonna show you some stuff here. See that? That's scattered site housing there. That used to be CHA land right there. That's it. What does Brandon Johnson keep saying? We have a housing problem. We ain't got no housing problem. See that there? Look. See that there? That's all smashed up. See that there? Look at all the land that's empty here. See it all here? We're in North Lawndale here. See that there? See that? There's people in that building that's busted into there. See that? That's scattered site housing. That's what that's called. When they tore down the projects, they built a bunch of those. That's not more than 20 years old there. That's new. Right? Now, there's a bunch around here. There's a bunch of land that's empty here. Look at that. You could have put the migrants in tent cities over here. See that there? See that all over there? See all that empty land here? Now I'm going to show you another spot over here where Tiffany Henyard's dad was shot. Dad, the mayor of, what, she was Dalton? Look at all these empty spaces over here. See this here? All these empty spaces, huh? Imagine somebody that's been mayor for how many years? 3 years? And then he, what does he do? He gets $100 million and he starts handing out checks saying what? People say there ain't no crime, right? So they agree with him and vote for him. I'm gonna show you something. The main thing that he's always saying is what? That's Roosevelt there. See that there? That's Roosevelt. We're on Kedzie. This is Kedzie. That's Roosevelt. Let me show you something over there. So I showed you one building that was empty. See all the land here? Look at all that land. There's a bunch of land here. Remember, why do they always build new buildings on the north side? It's weird. Isn't it? Let me show you one more thing. I just showed you down there, right? That building's abandoned. That's an abandoned CHA building, right? Mostly black people live here. There's migrants now moving in here. See this one here? Look at this. This is an abandoned CHA building too. See that? Tiffany Henyard's dad was shot in the back of it. But that's an abandoned CHA building. Why isn't that being used? Look at that. North Lawndale, scattered sites west. Right? Local Advisory Council. See that there?
Coming in. 7385 Adam, go ahead.
CHA buildings. You just seen multiple CHA buildings that are boarded up. Why didn't the mayor, after 3 years, fix these buildings up? You guys see that here or what? I'm going to show you. I'm live feeding on Facebook too, right? Here, look. See that there? Look. Gonna see the front and the back. This ain't no joke. Look at that. These are buildings. Got that? These are buildings where people can live, yet they're not living here. Why? Because the mayor chose not to have people living here. He's been in power for 3 years. We own these buildings. The city owns these. We don't pay mortgage. We don't pay tax. These are our buildings. Yet no one lives here. See that there? And the mayor's been in charge 3 years, and now he's handing out $100 million in checks saying, oh yeah, crime is down. There you go. Why don't we have like a Department of Housing fix something? How about a Department of let's fix the housing we own? We should have that maybe, huh? How about that? What do you think, Holly? There you go. SubX.News on the spot reporting. North Lawndale. How come all these CHA buildings are empty? How come? What do you think, Holly? The Department of Fixing the Buildings, right? How come all these CHA buildings are boarded up in North Lawndale? That's strange, and we've had the mayor in charge for 3 years, and we own these buildings. Why is he giving out $100 million in checks to say violence is down? Why don't he use that $100 million to fix up these buildings? That's a good question, ain't it? 7:15 p.m., June 26, 2026. North Lawndale. North Lawndale. I gotta type it down. Better get out of here before something bad happens to me, huh?